Dime qué tú quieres, papi. ¿Quieres que lo mueva para ti? Mueve, mueve. ¿Te gusta cuando me muevo así? Así.
Thank you, God, for this day. We have lived everything in our life, our health, our family, the guidance you have given us, allow us guidance to the path of righteousness. Amen.
Really, I'ma get that bitch. Revenge is a dish best served cold. She took my son, now my soul is cold. He took my daddy, now my soul is old.
Yeah, man.
That's hot shit right there, man.
So what we gonna do? We gonna dub?
King Chaka ENT. Y'all can check out the music on Spotify, Apple, and other services. Doing what we do 3 to 4 nights a week. King Chaka ENT.
I got this.
From the
She
back
starts
seat.
shooting.
Ow!
That dude was like, ow.
What was that?
Outside the car,
That nigga
deputies'
got
body
popped.
cameras capturing the bullets flying through the air.
We got shots
It
fired
couldn't
up
have been
here.
a straight
We need
shot. It had
backup
to be-
immediately. Start
Are you-
EMS. Start EMS.
What
We got
the
a
fuck?
civilian. We got a civilian hit.
The deputy.
Looks like we got us another hit.
Hey, how y'all doing out there? How y'all feel? Remember, an educated public cannot be controlled. Learn to be active. The views and events expressed here are totally whacked and are not necessarily the views of anyone. The name of this show today is The Power of Grifting. The Power of Grifting. It's a lot of that in the news, definitely. I'm going to talk about it later, but you know, the idea of basically sensationalizing people, you know, sensationalizing people to a certain end, like attempting to accomplish something, you know, they have an agenda. It's basically like having a side agenda, but saying things that's going to get people all emotional when you don't even feel that way or whatever. You don't even think that way or whatever. You don't even care one way or another. You just want to get a desired effect. Therefore, you can accomplish a certain goal. So that's the thing, and that's what's happening. And I think that we're becoming more and more oblivious to this. One of the things is like, and then I think that the part that scares me is that I think that a lot of people don't even care one way or the other. They don't care. It's like what I noticed, like on the internet, stuff being shared that is clearly fake. Like, you know, back when we had that video where the lady was trying to say McDonald's, she's saying that you have to feed all the kids and stuff, and it looked real, and it went viral. But you know, some of them are just really good. Though that's an example of one that's really good. But I saw one just the other day where it was like the lady was stealing the guy's mail. If you guys watch the internet as much as I do, I don't know if I have the clip. The guy was stealing. The lady was stealing the guy's mail, like taking his boxes, talking about, you know, it's a lot of boxes been coming here. There's something going on or whatever. Basically acting like a Karen or whatever. And then he kind of like took the box from her, and then she falls down and like, you killed me, like being extra completely over the top. Like you could clearly tell that it was staged and it was acting and it was not real, you know? But I see a lot of prominent pages too that are sharing this post as if it was real. but it's clearly not. So, but that's what I mean. This is what's happening with related to the topic of grifting. So it's okay when it's an internet, when it's a TikTok or Instagram reel, and it's just somebody pretending to be a Karen, whatever. The impact that that's having on society, is not as terminal as if you had a person in politics doing it, or a person that wasn't necessarily a politician, but somebody who knew politics um, enough to be able to grift the people who are interested in these topics, basically. So this person has to be educated enough on the topic to be able to say the right things that are going to sensationalize the audience, the intended audience. And they also have to be intelligent enough to get the desired outcome that they wish. There's something inherently sinister with it, being that these people feel like they're smarter than you. Okay, they feel like you're stupid, so they feel like, I can just, tell this person this stuff, get them all sensationalized and emotional, and then after that I can manipulate them into a particular outcome that I want. It becomes like you become like Play-Doh. You become so easily manipulated once you've been stimulated in a certain way, once you've been sensationalized in this certain way. You turn off your brain. You know what I'm saying? It's the fight or flight. And people talk about fear. So, like I say, this person, they say things and they get you all emotional, and then they guide you right into the little pocket of whatever they want you to guide you in. So that's the power of grifting. Okay. And its power lies in the fact that you don't know that it's happening. You know what I'm saying? You're not aware of it. You know, like I say, the video with the lady with the McDonald's, that was an example of doing it really well. So you can't blame everybody necessarily for being, taken for this. So that's the thing. People want to say that the people are stupid. Like I say, they think that you're stupid. So they but at the same time, when as a group collectively we don't have a system to deal with this, then therefore it's like we're asking to be taken advantage of. What I'm saying is, like, they shouldn't be able to just get on TV and lie. What's his name? From Alex Jones from InfoWars, his case is over. He's been in court for a minute on this Parkland shooting, and they're saying that he has to pay the victims' families. Okay, the parents of the victims from that shooting, he's gonna have to pay them. And then they said like $969 million or some shit, almost $1 billion. Does this guy have that much fucking money? Shh. I doubt it. I mean, I never looked at the numbers, but I'm just saying that's a lot of freaking money. That's it for him if he has to pay this. I'm sure he's gonna fight it. He's gonna figure out a way to not have to pay all of that. Because whatever amount of money it costs to fight that, it'll be worth it. It ain't gonna be more than $1 billion. So, but what my point is that, okay, so they're holding him accountable for not being honest with information, right? And it having a detrimental effect on these people, right? Enough to the fact that they should be awarded damages. Okay. So, okay, that I could say that's fair. I could say that's fair. All right. So, but what about, when, others do this same thing? Why is this guy getting, basically scapegoated or, singled out or made an example of? I'm not condoning what he did. What I'm saying is this lying thing is going on all over the place. It's rampant. Okay. So that's what I mean by the systems in place to be able to deal with this thing. They shouldn't be able to play a TV commercial and the commercial says, this thing can do this, this, and this. And then you go buy that thing, and that thing can't do two of the things that was on that list. That's fraud. So the same thing with, ideas related to politics, if you will. If they're frauding you, that should be fraud. So that should be illegal. We should have a system in place to deal with that. It's easy. I mean, as far as finding out if it's true, it's like, okay, they said in the commercial it can do this, 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 and this. We go and look at the product, and we'd be like, hey, guess what? Your product ain't standing up to your claims in your commercial, so we need you to tone it back a bit, or whatever. We're gonna fine you or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that. So what about people when they're talking shit and related to politics or whatever the hell? If they're a politician, or I don't know. Everybody has free speech, right? But what I'm saying is, they need to be called out. You can actually fact check things. Like, a fact checking has been a joke, but it can be done, right? It's like, but the thing is, right, that people don't want to agree on what the facts are. Damn, that's where we are now. You say it's an 8 and I say it's a 9. You say it's a 6 and I say it's a 9. No, it's not a 6, a 9, or an 8. It's an infinity symbol. Somebody over there. Can we come to some general consensus on things so that we can determine what's actually real and what's not? Or are we just okay being lost in this mosh posh of what's real and fake, or what's true and what's not? If we're okay with that, then that's the reason why we continue to be exploited. Because if it becomes so difficult to determine what's actually true and what's not, then that creates an environment where people can be easily manipulated and taken advantage of, used and abused, and in the dark, because it's such chaos that nobody has time to slow down and look at one of the things that's going on to be able to say that this person wronged that person. It's so much wrong going on all over the place. It's just chaos. It's a cloud of smoke. Punches and legs coming out like the cartoons. Oh man, I don't know. I just, I feel a little bit better. I'm trying to get there. I'm going through it. I ain't gonna lie. Mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, spiritually. It's a challenge every day. Freaking Kanye West is losing it. Let's talk about him. Anyways, the grifting is rampant, and we need to be able to begin to attempt to realize when we're being grifted too. As long as we have this celebrity status of people, this way we look at people and we're like, they're better than others, or their opinion has more value than someone else's, and we idolize these people. We make them superstars, we elevate them really extremely highly over everyone, and then we don't even care if they're telling the truth. It's like, that's my guy, like, it's whatever, that's my guy, so I don't care. Like, I'm rolling with him. I'm gonna roll with him. But so are you standing on your square when you're that way? Are you being real to yourself? Are you holding to your values? Are you standing on what you really believe in? Are you walking in your truth? Are you walking in the truth? That's what I ask you. Because if this guy is flipping around on those values that you hold strongly, and you still willing to ride with this guy, then you tripping. I think people listening might think that there's like one name in mind that I'm referring to, but that is not the case. Trust me. All over the place. It's not just politics. It's positions of leadership. People grift. They grift. you get, it's very lucrative. You get paid for this, okay? So your boss or the executive or whoever, they could be grifting the shit out of you, all of y'all. And then the thing is, you're in the meeting, and you're even in the back of your mind, you're thinking, oh, it's bullshit. But it's as they're so good at it, and they come in and they say the right things, and they get you all sensationalized, you forget about that thing that's in the back of your mind, and you didn't swallowed it, hook, line, and sinker. You didn't drunk the Kool-Aid. You hooked. And that's how they do it, and that's how they get you. And they just, it's like winding up a doll, one of them wind up dolls. That's what they treat us like. They keep cranking it, and then they let it go. And then there we go. On about the business, on about the bay, on about the day. Work. Take care of business, do this, that, do that. Anyways, how y'all feel? Y'all feel good? Hope we get some people in here. Keezy, I'm picking that up, please. It's always complications. Hope y'all was feeling Sierra, because, yeah. It says 4 must-see interviews with James Baldwin that will change your life. If y'all don't know who James Baldwin is, y'all should look him up. Very, very interesting guy. So I'm a bit early than I usually come on, and I can't stay on too late either. Let me see. Can I play this? The sound will probably have me messed up on here. But it says, can y'all see this? Am I sharing? The Girawal, also spelled Girawal, is an annual courtship ritual competition among Niger's Waidabi Fula people. Young men in elaborate ornamentation and traditional face painting form lines to dance and sing for the attentions of marriable young women. The Girawal event, in which traditional nomadic Wadabi cattle herders gather at the southern edge of the Sahara before dispersing south on their dry season pastures. Yeah, this is super interesting to me. The guys are the ones that's supposed to be attractive, so they're the ones that dress up and put on the makeup and stuff, because the girls, they come and they pick. That's how it goes. It's complex. I mean, we could talk about that, but I don't want to kill y'all with that information. I don't think everybody loves. I'm into this stuff, so I could go on and on. Yeah, it's a lot, and nobody knows anything, so I'll start going, and then it'll get lost. But anyway, super interesting to me. They're like, the reason why they have to do this is because they're like really dispersed. They live in a like semi desert environment. So the way you make it in those kind of environments, because you got limited resources, is you're spread out. So they are very spread out over dispersed areas. And then every 3 to 4 years or so, they come together for this thing here. And it comes from the fact that, when you're breeding, it's not a good idea to breed with your cousin and shit, right? Like freaking people that, if you dispersed out there, it's mostly just your family members that's around. So when you're looking for a mate, you're going to have to travel far and wide across all of these villages, all across the desert, to freaking find a mate. That's a problem. So to beat that, they have this thing where they all come together, like they gather, and their tribes all around the desert, and they gather, and for this event, to like I say, the women are the ones who choose. The guys dress up, Probably look pretty. Super interesting to me. I'm not into it right now. Let me get it.
The jury of 5 women and 7 men
find that the aggravating factors that
after deliberating for 7 hours, the jury of 5 women and 7 men stunned some family members of the Parkland victims after they recommended the life of Nicholas Cruz be spared. Many were visibly angry. Others broke down in tears. Debbie Hickson's husband, Chris, was the school's athletic director.
What it says to my family, what it says to the other families is that his life meant more than the 17 that were murdered.
Cruz showed little emotion as the verdict was read. Florida law requires a unanimous decision for a death sentence. Benjamin Thomas, the jury foreman, said 3 of the 12 jurors voted that factors, including mental illness brought up by the defense, should take the death penalty off the table.
That's how the jury system works. Everybody gets to vote. Everybody gets to decide. You know, we went through all the evidence, and some of the jurors just felt that was the appropriate sentence.
That decision does not sit well with Ilan and Lori Oladeff, whose 14-year-old daughter Alyssa, a talented soccer player, was shot 8 times.
I pray that that animal suffers every day of his life in jail.
Cruz had already pleaded guilty to killing 17 people at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. He did not take the stand during the trial, but jurors heard why he did it in a videotaped interview.
I felt like no one loved me. And I didn't like Valentine's Day. I wanted to ruin it for everyone.
Linda Beagle
Why is he tapping like
Scott,
that?
a teacher, died while trying to protect his students. A death penalty for you would have meant what?
A death penalty for me would have meant that we made sure he was put to death like he made sure he killed our loved ones.
The victims' families will be allowed to make statements ahead of a formal sentencing that is set for November 1st, but the judge cannot change the jury's verdict. Nora?
Manny Bajorquez.
Yeah, you can't. You definitely sympathize with the parents and how they feel about it. You can't be mad at them for feeling that way. Although I don't agree with capital punishment, you know, for a number of reasons. And it's like, as a nation, we were going in that direction away from capital punishment. But then you can see how when there's a shift and then you have the media, it seems like they're making them, the whole point of the segment is to be like, okay, this guy should have got killed, you know, and all the people that's out there watching it are going to be like, yeah, that dude, they should have just killed that dude. So, but then we're forgetting about like us as a society overall, you know, how many people we have in prison. Like, it's like we have more, we're like a prison state, you know, and other countries were talking about us and the amount of people we were executing too. It's like the kind of thing where we talk about with China, or we talk about Japan or whoever, Saudi Arabia, Russia. So, but it's the same thing. So, but it looks normalized. It's normalized for us because this is how they do it through the media. Anyways, I don't agree with the capital punishment at all. I don't agree with what the guy did. And I totally sympathize with the parents, but I do not agree with the capital punishment of this guy because of us as a society. You know, we need to move into the future. We need to be better than that. We need to grow. So killing people because they killed somebody is like, okay, that's justice. I guess you could say it's justice. You could say it's justice. But at the same time, you know, then we got a criminal justice system that doesn't work very well. It has many inconsistencies. So how many innocent people are going to get killed if you're killing people for stuff? That's my reason why I don't believe in the capital punishment. This is CBS Evening News. They says their caption. The caption says there's outrage in Florida from the parents of victims in the Parkland school shooting A jury spared convicted killer Nicholas Cruz from death penalty and instead recommended a sentence of life without parole for the 2018 massacre that killed 17 students and staff. Yeah. Hold on, let me play this.
An order for large-scale U.S. troop withdrawals. He disregarded concerns about the consequences for fragile governments on the front lines of the fight against ISIS and al-Qaeda terrorists. Knowing he was leaving office, he acted immediately and signed this order on November 11th, which would have required the immediate withdrawal of troops from Somalia and Afghanistan, all to be complete before the Biden inauguration on January 20th. As you watch these clips, recall that General Keith Kellogg was the national security advisor to the vice president and had served as chief of staff to the National Security Council for President Trump. General Milley was the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff at the Pentagon.
Are you familiar with a memo that the president reportedly signed on November 11th, 2020, ordering that troops be withdrawn from Afghanistan and Somalia?
Yes. So I think you might have seen some things where there's a memo or something from Johnny McEntee to Douglas McGregor. It says, here's your task to get U.S. forces out of Somalia, get U.S. forces out of Afghanistan. It is non-standard. It is potentially dangerous. I personally thought it was militarily not feasible nor wise.
And I proceeded to tell the PPO and proceeded to tell McGregor that if I ever saw anything like that, I would do something physical, because I thought what that was done was a tremendous disservice to the nation. And by the way, that was a very, very contested issue. There were people who did not agree with getting out of Afghanistan. I appreciate their concerns. An immediate departure that memo said would have been catastrophic. It's the same thing what President Biden went through. It would have been a debacle.
President Trump issued an order for large-scale U.S. troop withdrawals. He disregarded concerns about the consequences for fragile governments on the front lines of the fight against ISIS and al-Qaeda terrorists. Knowing he was leaving office, he acted immediately and signed this order on November 11th, which would have required the immediate withdrawal of troops from Somalia and Afghanistan, all to be complete before the Biden inauguration on January 20th. As you watch these clips, recall that General Keith Kellogg was the national security advisor to.
Oh my God, that shows how tone deaf these freaking people are. Like, that's your way of trying to make Trump sound bad? He sounds like a freaking hero with this clip. Come on, get the hell out of here. This is y'all trying to, they are so oblivious. Like, this sounds great. You know what I'm saying? This sounds wonderful. Like, this is how you do it. Like, he said he didn't want the freaking, why are we having so many wars? He campaigned on that, whatever. He was trying to get something done before he got up out of there. Boom. He tells them they got to end this hole now and get the hell out and make it happen before Biden gets in there. That way Biden can't come in there and fucking unfuck it. You get what I'm saying? Come on, you guys are ridiculous. Most of the people are going to hear this and they're going to be like, that's a whole nother reason to like Trump. Y'all are saying this like he did something bad. Y'all are crazy. Y'all are crazy. He doesn't care about America. Okay, well, he said America first. So, boom, that makes sense to take we spending all this money over there in Afghanistan for what? Make sure it happens before Biden gets in there. Bro, the people are not going to hear that in a way that they think they are. You know, they think that they have so much control over people. They think that people are so stupid. They think people are not going to hear it. It's like, you know, the military industrial complex, of course, one of the strongest lobbies that's out there, totally got control over the media. So they want to say the narrative of, oh, Trump is a bad guy. He made us abruptly leave out of Afghanistan, and it was a quagmire mess. What the hell? We've been in Afghanistan for how many years? Y'all haven't got y'all shit together that whole damn time? Get the fuck out of here, fat cat ass. You just want more money. This is another excuse to freaking send out more money. You got shit. Oh, we got these niggas over in Afghanistan, bro. We need to sign this invoice. Boom, signed it. What the fuck ever. Another $1 million, another $1 billion, whatever the hell. Shit, we got the troops over there. We got to get them taken care of. You know. Meanwhile, those fat cats over there, if they're telling the bureaucrats whatever the hell they want to tell them, meanwhile they fucking cashing in, bro. The private, the damn independent contractors and their buddies, and they fucking open businesses. They got these government contracts. It's just fucking money flowing. Period. And ain't nobody looking at it. Ain't nobody freaking seeing it. It's also like black money, like it's dark money, like it's barely traceable. Like, what did we spend that money on? I don't know. They asked for some shit. You know, they got some Afghanistan, there's troops and shit. I don't know. Yeah. Another tank. I don't know. They need some shit over there. You know, meanwhile, them niggas is just over there fucking, oh my God, bro. And like I say, man, I'm not a Trump fan necessarily, but I got to call a duck or whatever. I got to give him his props when it's due. In him saying that freaking get the hell out of freaking Afghanistan, I'm totally with him on that. And I'm totally with him on the way he did it. Crazy world we live in. Everybody got to be on one side or the other. And the truth doesn't fucking matter. It's insane. Berserk. Anyways, the clips from the January 6th stuff, I want to play that because that's pretty freaking but it's like behind the scenes what was going on. Pretty cool, I think. Anyways, you know, I'm a damn political nerd anyways.
Finish the proceedings or else they're going to have the complete victory.
Senator Schumer is at a secure location and they're locked down in the Senate.
There has to be some way we can maintain the sense that people have that there's some security or some confidence that government can function and that we can elect the President of the United States. Did we go back into session?
We did go back into session, but now apparently everybody on the floor is putting on tear gas masks to prepare for a breach. Well, I'm trying to get more information.
They're putting on their
tear gas masks.
It's like a movie. Looks like a movie.
I can't.
We need an area for the House members. They're all walking over now through the tunnels.
Bring her out here! Hey, coming in if you don't bring her out!
I'm going to call up the effing Secretary of DOD. We have some senators who are still in their hideaways. They need massive personnel now. Can you get the Maryland National Guard to come too?
I have something to say, Mr. Secretary. Well, I'm going to call the mayor of Washington, D.C. right now and see what other outreach she has to other police departments, as Leader Hoyer has mentioned. Hi, Governor. This is Nancy. Governor, I don't know if you have been approached about the Virginia National Guard. Mr. Hoyer was speaking to Governor Hogan, but I still think you probably need the okay of the federal government in order to come into another jurisdiction. Thank you.
Secretary of the Army.
Oh my gosh, they're just breaking windows, they're doing all kinds of, it's really, that they said somebody was shot. It's just horrendous, and all at the instigation of the President of the United States. Okay, thank you, Governor. I appreciate what you're doing, and if you don't mind, I'd like to stay in touch. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Virginia Guard has been called in.
You know, I'm just talking to Governor Northam, and what he said is they sent 200 state police and a unit of the National Guard. They're breaking windows and going in, obviously ransacking our offices and all the rest of that. That's nothing. The concern we have about personal harm, personal safety it just transcends everything. But the fact is, on any given day, they're breaking the law in many different ways. And quite frankly, much of it at the instigation of the President of the United States. And now, if he could at least somebody.
Yeah, why don't you get the president to tell them to leave the Capitol, Mr. Attorney General, in your law enforcement responsibility?
Damn, it looks like a
statement,
movie.
they should all leave. This cannot be just we're waiting for so-and-so. We need them there now, whoever you got.
You also have troops. This is Steny Hoyer. Troops.
Okay, so we have a little bit of time to make that decision.
Andrews Air Force Base.
All right.
Other military bases.
Thank you.
We
Thanks,
need
Paul.
active duty National Guard.
How soon in the future can you have the place evacuated, cleaned out?
I don't want to speak for the leadership that's going to be responsible for executing the operation, so I'm not going to say that because they're on the ground and they're the
Or just pretend for a moment it was the Pentagon or the White House or some other entity that was under siege. And let me say, you can logistically get people there as you make the plan. We're trying to figure out how we can get this job done today. We talked to Mitch about it earlier. He's not in the room right now, but he was with us earlier and said, we want to expedite this, and hopefully they could confine it to just one complaint, Arizona, and then we could vote, and that would be, then just move forward with the rest of the state. The overriding wish is to do it at the Capitol. What we are being told very directly is it's going to take days for the Capitol to be okay again. We've gotten a very bad report about the condition of the House floor with defecation and all that kind of thing as well. I don't think that that's hard to clean up, but I do think it is more from a security standpoint of making sure that everybody is out of the building, and how long will that take? I just got off with the Vice President.
And I got off with the Vice President-elect. So I'll tell you.
Okay, but what we left the conversation with, because he said he had the impression from Mitch that Mitch wants to get everybody back to do it there.
Yes.
I said, well, we're getting a counterpoint that is, we could take time to clean up the poo-poo that they're making all over them, literally and figuratively in the Capitol, and that it may take days to get back.
And I'm at the Capitol building. I'm literally standing with the chief of police of the U.S. Capitol Police. He just informed me what you will hear through official channels. Paul Irving, your sergeant at arms, will inform you that their best information is that they believe that the House and the Senate will be able to reconvene in roughly an hour.
Good news.
Your sergeant at arms will be in touch about the process for getting members back into the building.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vice President. Good news.
So 7:13, they made it back to the. They reconvened at 7:13 p.m. that day. What's up, Pat? What's up, Deuce?
What's up? What's up?
What's up, man? How y'all feeling?
Feeling great.
That's good. What did y'all catch any of this clip? They're showing behind the scenes of what was happening on January 6th. Just like stuff that was going on from the point of view of, behind the scenes, mostly, hovering around Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. And her conversations with, it seems like she was kind of concerned when she was talking about the needing protection. Can y'all send Virginia and then some other state. She was saying, and that's interesting to me because that shows like I think that they didn't have much faith in the Capitol Police, so they wanted some outside police to come in and help them.
Well, or just some additional or something, because I mean, this is something that's not, normal. That this is not a normal situation, and I mean, especially when you live your life fucking over people, you start to get concerned when, what I'm saying, like, I mean, because this is the first time I know this has ever happened to them, but they done so much dirt. It's just you start to realize like, dang, it will catch up with but
Shit, being a government official is dangerous historically. Whenever the people get upset.
But why?
Shit, the people have enough of it, and then the damn politicians is the first ones they go for, or the king or queen or whoever it is.
Yeah.
Prime minister, whatever you want to call them, supreme leader, commander, whoever you are. Yeah, the people. Once the people done had it, they done had it. Because the thing is that it wasn't one sided. It wasn't just the Democrats who was afraid, because they wanted Mike Pence was scared too. They were saying his name.
I didn't say no names. I didn't point out nobody. I'm just saying.
Well, they was hovering on the Democrats on this, so I just assumed.
Well, no, because the actually Mike Pence was supposed to be the target, because he didn't agree to not because the whole thing was about the mishap about the voting, and like, even though, like, because I guess he was being two-faced, because in one place he's saying like, he don't agree with the voting, but then at the same time he goes along and says, so at some point he's like, okay, now he does agree. So it's like, all right, what is it? Like, what, what I'm saying? You agree, you don't agree, whatever. So that's who they were supposedly going after when they was going to the Capitol building. He was at least one of the top people that they was looking for was Mike Pence. But but Nancy Pelosi, like all of them, like everybody already like got the skinny on her for sure. Schumer, like, I mean these people forget that their votes are visible to the public. The things that they vote for, and the things that they're actually doing.
That's interesting. Recently AOC has gone under fire because she's been voting for the war in Ukraine, and it's like the whole time she's like, I'm progressive, I'm anti-wars, but why are you voting for these wars over here? What's going on?
Wait a minute, y'all, hold on a second.
So people, somebody was calling her out for that recently. But that just shows, I mean, bought and paid for. And like I say, once you get in there, the money starts flowing, and they all friends anyways. That's the other part of it that kind of really bothers me, that people seem like they don't get. It doesn't matter if they're Republican, Democrat, Independent, they're all friends. They all live in this little community where their kids all go to the same fucking schools. They're all buddies.
Well, I don't know about all. I mean, I think that there is a lot of camaraderie, because I mean, not everybody is just hunky dory. A bunch of it is political theater. I would say the majority of it is political theater. But at the same time, I mean, you think all that was false? Like, you think they didn't think there was a problem with Trump being in office, and like him, like. Because I mean, a lot of people, like, think because of what media says that Trump wasn't actually doing work for the people, in which he was. I mean, there's proof of it. And him supposedly wanting to clean the swamp pretty much meant everybody else that's just been there for decades and not really doing anything. You know what I'm saying? So, I still lean heavy on my conservatism, You know, I think that there was things that was trying to be done. You know, there's some people who are on both sides of the fence that just they are on both sides of the fence that's just not doing what they're supposed to do. You know, they're thinking more about themselves and their family than doing their job, which is doing things for the people. You know.
Yep, they themselves and their family and that cush ass job they're gonna have when they get out of politics. All that money just
Job,
flowing.
the cush job, shit. Look, they doing all the work and they gonna do. And look, they trying to get it to where their kids don't have to work. Like they setting their kids up so big to where like shit for the next 20, 30 years, shit, they their kids gonna be super good. Like they ain't gotta worry about nothing. Like they already set up, but then for them to still be setting up $1 billion deals in other parts of the world. Because I mean, shit, I know y'all remember just a few weeks ago. This ain't even been 2 months. They was talking about, you know, Biden supposedly telling Pelosi not to go to Taiwan, but she said, "Screw you, I'm going to Taiwan."
Stirring up a mess too, man. Stirring up a beehive. So we just want to pick fights with Russia. We want to pick fights with China.
Yeah,
We're
well, see
big,
that.
bad America.
Well, you know, it's all a plan. I mean, you know, like like they're doing these things because they're trying to push these different countries to be the first ones to make the big bad assault on the world, especially if it's some nuclear stuff. So like they're pushing buttons, you know, poking the bear.
The
But
U.S. They cannot think they so badass that they can beat. What if China, Russia, you know, and it'd probably be a random ass country in Europe align against the United States, you know, and because we're looking at it would be what
Germany,
it would be what they would call a world war again, and it would be because that's what it would be. Because if we got into it with a big one like China or Russia, then that's immediately a world war, and it's going to be people picking sides off top.
well,
So
look all right, with the talks of, you know, this place, you know, falling and the government not really having, you know, a true base anymore. Like the people who are in power that can linger, you know, with the belief of the majority, believing that they still have certain powers and they doing different things across the world. I mean, they can get away with a bunch of stuff with just, you know, like through all the falsehood. But one of the things to remember is even throughout the war, like they said that what's the supposed to be what was the Nazi the dude from Germany, Hitler. Like they said Hitler was living in the United States all the way up until his death, which might have been like maybe 5 years ago or something like that. So like a lot of times these things happen and they are like can be hidden in a different country, and nobody really knows. Like, I mean, you know, that's still like somewhat some hearsay, but I mean, just think about it. I mean, these are like just regular people that can, you know, they can tell you, like people still say Tupac is alive. Is it true? Okay, I don't know, but there's still a great possibility he around here somewhere doing what he always planned to do, trying
yeah.
to be here for this time when shit really hit the fan. Like I don't know, but they got so much money they can like do whatever.
What's up, dudes? You ain't said nothing. What you think about the background video related to the January 6th thing?
Shit, they motherfuckers they were scared, but that just goes to show you, man, that they're at the end of the day they still human and they're still scared, you know. And without their power, which their money is their power, without that, they're nothing, bro. And then I mean, I hear you guys talking about the war and shit, but I think the world would be before the world allows these leaders to destroy this world. I think the citizens of the world will come together and fight these motherfuckers and behead these
I'm
motherfuckers
telling you, I think
before they allow that shit to happen, bro. Because
or it
there's
or it
so
would
many
happen
people.
immediately after, or
Yeah,
immediately after. Yeah.
because
Well,
there's
I'm
so
gonna
many
tell you.
people that there's so many people that humanity lives within them, and they care about the world, and they care about their offsprings living and having a good prosperous life, bro. And I think that's what these world leaders, they know this shit, and I think they're ruling by fear. Let's spark a war over here. Let's get people, let's
Oh,
start
it's
putting this propaganda out here
definitely.
that the U.S. could
Well,
possibly be at war with Russia and China. And what does that do? That
well, that's
scares
the
people.
well. See, but that's the whole that's the whole play. Like that's like that's what the Democrats have been doing. What I want what the United States government period. Because I mean, I guess with Congress and everything involved, whatever whoever's voting for whatever, but just simple and plain, that's how they do things. Like it's got to be based on fear, whether because I mean potentially they're scared, but most likely like because of their position, like they might be making deals with like everything that we seeing on the news. Like there's really like no proof to us that all that stuff is not just CGI. That like you know what I'm saying like made up and just getting us all riled up because that conversation we had last week really got me to thinking, and a couple of conversations I've had with others just lets me know like like we getting played even more than we think.
For sure.
And like we are getting played hardcore. Like we some big ass fucking dummies because it's the same shit. We keep falling for the same bullshit.
Yep, yep, yeah. And the thing about it is, they have to, they have to rule by that, dude. They know that they're losing. The government, I think the world leaders are losing, just in general. You know what I'm saying? Not in just the U.S. I think all over the world. And I mean, you look at what the government is doing to the people in China and suppressing, and looking at how these people are starting to, like, these motherfuckers are starting to fight back over there against this
Well,
government. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think the biggest problem for us is that if we don't fix our own problem and we allow some foreign government that is like China come in and try start trying to govern us the same way they govern their own people, like we'll be sorry that we was too much of a bitch to fix our own shit. That's like what I'm saying, like we hired these people, you know, based on the type of government we have. We voted these people in. We hired them. We give them a salary to treat us the way that they do, and then we don't do shit about it. Like
We some bitches.
we some bitches.
yeah, yeah. The whole infrastructure needs to be just fucking overturned, bro, and start over. And I know people say, well, that's a lot easier said than done, but I think it could be done, man. You know what I'm saying? I think that you genuinely have people in government that genuinely care and want to see this country go in the right direction instead of the downward spiral
Well,
that we're going in. And
well,
their hands are tied.
Well,
They're
no, I
it's
mean if you think about it, I mean there was, I mean I think that they kind of like flopped really, but I mean those people that showed up at the Capitol on the January 6th were people demonstrating the fact of I guess really how things supposed to really happen because that's the whole thing. If they're if the people are like a lot. We're so used to getting screwed that we don't even know that we're living in a tyrannical government.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's the whole part of what the Second Amendment is about. Not just, having freedom to be able to carry your gun and protect yourself, from, you know, your neighbors or this, that, and the other. No, it's from the people who's trying to gain power over you and, doing all the things like stealing all your resources that you gave permission to try to, man, like,
You the first person I ever heard put that whole capital thing in that dialect and that term because most people use that shit for race baiting. If that was black people up there, it sure would have been different. You know what I'm saying? They made it. They
well,
they totally look. They went the opposite way instead of looking at like this is what the fuck we need right here. We need motherfuckers that's got the gall, the nuts to go up here and say we own this shit. You know what I'm saying? The White House don't exist without our tax dollars, the everyday working class people. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to go in and overturn this shit and make these motherfuckers pay attention to us because, dude, this government has gotten so disrespectful against the citizens. Fuck a race. Nigga,
but
they
that's what
they
that's the
fucking over everybody.
That's the part. That's the part right there. Like we getting played so much on all the different ways that they keep separating us. The racism, uh, your religion. All like for the most part, like I don't have no arguments with nobody about no damn race. I hear it on TV, shit where it's being propagandized to me. Like I don't live none of that. Like I mean, I can't speak for everybody, and like nobody's dealing with the shit. But I mean, come on, like, bro, our biggest problem is everybody's biggest problem is the same thing, and that's our government not spreading the resources around the way they should.
Yeah, and then I honestly, I'm not saying that race is not an issue, but I think the propaganda that they're feeding black folks in the media, with the cop shootings and all of this other bullshit, dude, that's the least of our fucking worries, bro. It's bigger than that. It's way bigger than that. I'm not saying that that's not an issue, but it's way
Yeah.
bigger. We need to read through that bullshit, bro, because I'm a firm believer and history repeats itself. And I wouldn't be surprised if they don't try to enslave all of us motherfuckers. like,
Well, no, I mean, but
Man, that's a
I
that's
really
a whole
believe,
mouthful right there.
bro. I believe that's really the plan, because I mean, bro, like, say, bro, there's too many like ever since because I'm bringing up last week's conversation because Chaka really like at the moment it was a great question, but since I've had time to really ponder over it, it's like the different because it's like a couple of different questions that he asked, but like are we getting played? Is all this stuff like hyped up stuff you know just to fuck with us? And can I be wrong? Could I be wrong?
well, we
And of
know
course,
we getting played, bro, because any of the news outlets that we have on our national TV here that's U.S.
yeah.
based, you know what I'm saying? We already know they playing us. They playing us like a fucking violin, bro. Like them motherfuckers, they doing some violent shit. Like when you call a nigga to your wedding to play, that nigga he playing.
Yeah, he been playing for 50 years. He's so good. He
yeah,
know how to do classical songs and everything,
hell
hip hop
yeah,
songs and everything. He could do them all.
hell yeah. This nigga stop moving
Talented.
his arms and stroking the violin, and that bitch keep going and shit.
Yeah.
Hey, I guarantee you. All right, check this out, right? So I guarantee you today, somewhere today on some news outlet, there was a segment about the war in Ukraine. But I guarantee you didn't hear shit about the mass shooting that happened over in the Carolinas today, where 5 people was killed, including an off-duty officer.
Yeah, I saw that call by my headline. I didn't click on it though, but I got to know. I get notifications. That's how I stay up on shit. But anyways, it went across my screen on my phone, but I didn't click on it.
Yeah, no, I
It's
hadn't
just
seen that at all.
yeah, this shit is crazy, bro. They playing us like a fucking violin, bro. Like they got the whole fucking orchestra playing our bitch asses, bro. Like let's just be real about it, and that's why. Like it's I feel like that's why I said last week, that you bring up last week. That's why I said last week. I feel like at the end of the day, we don't fucking know shit, bro. We all slaves to our belief system, bro. And it's bigger than this. It's bigger than the shit that they putting in our face. It's bigger than the shit that we arguing about within our communities. It's bigger than a race, a nationality, bro. It's bigger than that shit, bro. Because we all getting fucked on a level, bro. And I'm telling you, though, if we don't watch it, we're gonna all be getting paid what they feel like they should pay us, and we're gonna all be some fucking worker bees around this bitch. You know
Well,
what I'm
look,
saying? Like
And
it's just
it's
look.
gonna be a permanent owner class and a permanent worker class. And it won't be no mobility. So you're
Well,
yeah.
born as a owner and you're born as a worker, just like some ants or something.
Well, look, I mean, because there's some stuff, I'm studying, and I, I take these different little classes from time to time. But this was on some history, teaching about the Magna Carta and the doctrine of discovery. The reason why a lot of these things that we're going through is because of those two main things. They something that happened, shoot, what, 500 years ago, maybe maybe longer than that. But the fact that they can rule, if you're not a Christian country, they can just take you over, and of course that's the Magna Carta, and then with the doctrine of discovery is what Columbus was able to use when he got here. Both, I guess you could say, both of those um, total ideas is, Christianity, I guess, was
I'm
supposed to be
telling you, that's why
winning.
I was about to jump in. This is freaking, oh my God, it's so much bullshit. Because you're absolutely right on what you're saying, because that is how this whole thing got set up. And so, but what was it? It was like the queen. She was like, I decree, dip, 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 and God gives me the power to decree, dip, 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 dip. And that's how the decision was made. So then that was the authority. You get what I'm
Well,
saying? So then,
along with the Pope, because
and,
that's
and
that's
this
the
is
only
the
person who can rescind the doctrine of discovery.
so this is the authority that we still,
Live under.
submit to this
We're
day.
still under the monarchy. It's just that they give the perception that we don't. I mean, the very reason why when the Pope comes, everybody shuts down. They all want to, go, do some kind of praise to
Even
him
the
and this, that.
even the all the presidents of the different countries, they all go kiss his ring.
Yeah.
And they don't even have to be freaking Catholic. Like none of them are.
No, I mean that's the whole thing. Like a lot. I mean, and that's like, bro. Like when I was growing up, it's like, what the hell I'm gonna need history for? Like I need to know how to count my money, and and write my name, and I'll be good. But no, I'll say, bro, history, bro. Like us not knowing history, really, like a lot of the things that we fight for is null and void because we don't know what the heck. Like, I mean, we running in place. We on a treadmill.
And we don't have time to just like really just look at it, but it's designed for us to not have time. It's like you're on a train, right? One of them fast trains, and outside your window all you see is a blur. You get little glimpses of what's out there, but you can't really see the details, you know?
Oh yeah, yeah. Everything moving by too fast.
So that's kind of like how it is for us, because of the system that they have us on. Everything is a blur, and we only get bits and pieces. It's kind of like the sitcoms that are so popular that people like to watch, the little TV shows where it's like they talk about technical knowledge. It could be computer knowledge or a doctor's, or the police type knowledge, and then they drop those little terms and people know those little terms, and then they feel all smart and shit, but it's like they're just throwing the little bitty bits out at you, and you making it seem like you understand the whole picture, even though you fucking don't have a fucking clue.
Yeah. No. But but the thing is, while we bullshitting, we getting upset about the president, the Congress, the senators, and all this, that, and the third, and shit, they just pretty much doing, they still following. They have to follow the monarchy. We think that none of that stuff is real because it's we're not seeing it. We don't see it that way. Like most people just don't.
It's because of the way they taught history. They taught it in a perspective like that stuff ended and it's in the past. They
Yeah,
don't teach
exactly.
history in how it
Yeah, because
leads to the present day. They always
the
leave, and you
war.
know what? Modern history is always, what do they call it? What's the word for it? It's controversial. Modern history is always controversial and can't be touched academically. They won't teach it.
Nope.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I just parked. I had to go off duty and all that kind of stuff. So but the last statement you made.
Um, Damn it, I done lost it now because my brain done flipped.
You're
What did
talking
I
about
say,
modern
Deuce?
history, how they
But
don't
Oh yeah,
the way
how
they
they
the
don't
way
no
they
teach
teach
connection.
yeah,
history.
Yeah, go ahead. The way I teach it, the way they
yeah
teach
I mean
history, and then
yeah
disconnect between modern day. Go ahead.
yeah well because that's the thing, like we get pieces of if this here and a piece there. Even when we just talk about if we just talk about just United States history, like you know they leave out so much because it's like you know the Constitution, like all the laws that, because most people think, like they say, the white man's law and this, that, and the other bullcrap. Like no, like the biggest problem is that we don't realize we're the ones who created all of this. The Constitution, the Confederation, all that stuff, the Articles of Confederation, all these different, the Bill of Rights, all these different things was written by us, or they adapted them from us. You know, the Iroquois was the we pretty much handed it over. They pretty much handed it over to them because of a deal that was made or whatever. But regardless, like we need to, like, even if it was their law, like we need to understand it because we still subject to it. Like
Right.
that's like and then if we're living under a democracy, or because I mean I'm saying if, because really when you put things into perspective, like it's all a false, like that we're living,
But
it's
but look,
we're acting out a certain type of government,
right.
but
So
it's still overpowered, can be overpowered by a
yeah,
monarch.
right. So we follow it by default, basically, and and
Yes.
and so the thing is that though knowing the rules or knowing the laws, is how you can manipulate the system because they have to follow their laws, basically. You know what I'm saying? They have to follow
Yeah.
the rules that
Or
they set
or
up.
or or give in on the whole play. Like
So
they
that's
had to.
so that so then that's
Go
how
ahead.
you get them, and that's the only way to really get them, other
Yes.
than tearing this whole damn thing down. And I don't know how you do that because it extends across the damn world, the whole damn world. So and then so many people have been born into this perspective of their government, that they can't see it no other kind of way at all. So because they're already by default following this system, so like the people are the ones that uphold it and give it the legitimacy.
Yeah. Like I wonder how like these things will happen, because I mean in order for them to take over in in a way that they, because I mean it was a lot of handovers in the beginning, but at the same time they still ran a coup on some, like they killed off some of the guys, these black men. These were politically white people, but they were black men that were holding Senate seats and Congress seats, but they were problematic because like they was not down with the program. Look, no, my family like been around, like we've been here, and they should be able to continue having the white be politically white. They knocked their heads off
Yeah.
because this is just the whole play on them trying to like white is the reason for you to be uh over every be you're pure and then all this other crap, you know what I'm saying? Even though for since ancient times, the white people, like it's a caste system. And like I don't know why it's so hard for people to realize, like them calling you white, calling them black, others brown and yellow and all, like this. It's a caste system. It's a caste class system. So I mean, I don't know why it's so hard for people to get that, but but either way, there's people right now today that are white that look like me and you and Deuce and the guy sitting across from me in his truck, the white guy. I'm just saying, like, I mean,
The
we got
Ethiopians.
we got
Let
we
me
got to
play
be
this. Y'all check this.
Ethiopians, Egyptians. All
The
right, go ahead.
Egyptians. Yeah, let me play this.
By we people.
Listen, family,
The man said we
debate
live
me if
in
you
a
disagree.
serious time. The world is full of war, and I want to know what time the world wasn't full of war. I feel like the last time the world wasn't full of war is when black people, African, melanated, indigenous people was ruling the world. And ever since the world stopped getting ruled by we people who know how to look after the animals, know how to look after the natural land, know how to keep the rivers clean, the world has been in chaos. So I feel like until at which point we are able to take charge of the world again, respect. Until at which point we are able to take charge of the world again, the world will be in chaos. The world needs to be under custodianship of the melanated woman first, and then the melanated man, and then everybody else. And just that's it. And if you're not doing that, then you want chaos. Carve out a slice of spiritual warfare for yourself.
Listen.
What do y'all think?
I've seen that guy, and he's like does a lot of like activism worldwide. And I mean I honestly I agree. I mean I think that our temperament is the type of temperament that's needed in order for things to be fair for all people. Like I believe that. I think what he just said like is just very true. And it's not like no racist shit. It's just like, when you really look at it, like some people don't know how to handle power. Like they don't want to share enough. They want to like, 'cause I mean, for
Yeah.
anybody to leave where they live to go, go somewhere where like they visited and they saw people weren't doing well, they send people like, cause we were trading all around the world, and then it's like they get word that, oh man, these people over here such they not doing well, like they get them be sick, they getting this black what this called the black plague, like they get, and then they start sending people around the world to go and help them get their shit together. And then those very same people is who ends up, you know, trying to, once they well, now they want to knock them over the head and take over because, you know, oh you think you too good, or I don't know, like it's just
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we see that shit every day, especially with the people that we have in power and office now. You know what I'm saying? That's all
well,
they know how to do. And
and
then
I
look
want to
at
give
how
a
they
disclaimer.
did the indigenous people.
Yeah, I want
You
to give
know.
a I just want to give a disclaimer because I mean I do believe that there are some white people that could, that has the temperament that could rule. But for whatever reason, at this point in the world, we don't have any of them in place. I think that, we like so I mean, in order for us to really see peace, like we're gonna have to go through some chaos. But bro, I mean,
Yeah.
everything is screwed, man. Like like I said, I don't know. I know the world goes in cycles, and maybe we've seen stuff like this before. We elected to be here during this time in our lives or whatever. But what's the point of being here if we ain't gonna do nothing with it? Like what we just sit around and just hope and wish.
I'm telling you, man. And I can't just do that. And then it's like the natural cycles. I like that what you're talking because that makes me feel better about things when I think about that. Maybe this is just the process of our growth. You know what I'm saying? As a species, you know.
Well, yeah, I really believe that a lot of the things that they say in history that is mythology is really real. It's just that because the world, like the energies that it takes for a lot of those things to happen is just not here. It's displaced. Like the world is not harmonized. Maybe the energies are here, but because of so many breaks in energy, like we don't have it free flowing.
We don't have the harmony. We don't
Yeah,
have we're not on beat with each other. That's the
yeah,
problem. We're in disharmony. We're off beat with each other, and it causes that resonance. It causes that break of the frequency. It causes that white noise, if you will,
yeah.
distortion.
Well, the white noise is actually helping to bring the balance throughout it all. Because I mean, it's those deep dark. Like it is to help to keep it at as close to balance as possible. But this because listening to the ocean is actually something that will help you get yourself, because it might be off,
Hey,
maybe too. Go ahead.
hey, y'all ever thought about this shit? How they put colors on everything, right? White noise. Or white represents peace, and if you have black, oh, that's turmoil. That's just like to me. That's I don't know, bro. I feel like that brings a division there. Like, you want to go to sleep well and sleep well, just listen to white noise. Like, I don't know, bro. I just it's just
Don't listen
it
to that
just
black noise.
But no,
Don't
but
do
it
that.
listen.
just I feel like
Hey,
that right there just something that some people don't think
well,
about that shit, but that
but you
brings a
know what?
division.
I hear what you're saying, but we created every language that there is. So even the English language, with them saying it's bastardized or this, that, and the third, like we created all of these to be able to deal with the different people. So and of course it happened in different times, but however, the whole idea, because black really was more like in every other language, the color, the actual color white starts with the BL. It's like a blanco or a block. Like it's
Yeah.
the actual color black was not, or if it was even described as black, because
Yeah,
like there's
the
very
meaning
few
has
things.
the meanings has like flopped, basically, is what Pat's trying to say, and that's true. In when you look at it etymology, Deuce is like why it's got to be white noise? That's
Well,
racist.
but because see, people don't realize the whole idea of white being pure is, I mean, like you get a white shirt, it's clean, it's unblemished, or whatever, but it didn't mean white people, because really we were the white people. Like, you know uh well, I say we because I mean all of us were not, the high status or whatever, but for the most part, black people were, or melanated people were, the white people. And that was just like mostly a term that was used politically,
Uh,
so
Check this out. I want to play this clip. It's like, because we're on this topic, so I'm gonna keep going with it. But it's like anti-white racism and crime. That is the argument. But anyways, let me play this clip.
Police in the recent years, 1,000. The Washington Post did a analysis of how many people were killed by the police in the recent years, 1,000 of them. 500 of them were white, 250 were black. There were more unarmed white men killed by the police than unarmed black men. I was invited to Ohio State to give a speech before the football team by Coach Urban Meyer, then the coach. So I came to the class and I addressed all these football players, and they were like this, Candace. They were not having it. They were not having it. I'm sure they thought it was Uncle Tom and a sellout and all the words you've heard before. And I said, there were about 16 unarmed black men killed last year by the police. And you can probably name the unarmed black men that have been killed in recent years, whether it's Eric Gardner or Freddie Gray or Trayvon Martin. I know he wasn't killed by a cop, but he was killed by a guy that purported to be the neighborhood watchman. Sandra Bland, we all know their names. Michael Brown. I said there were more unarmed white men killed by the police than unarmed black men. Name one. The Washington Post did
Okay, so he's saying that because of the media,
check the statistics. Like, there's real numbers out there, and we getting emotional about shit that we don't know shit about. We getting the very same subject that we were having last week. This gives more context, and then why people getting upset about what Kanye and Candace wearing a White Lives Matter shirt is because they know the statistics.
Yeah.
They know the real statistics, not the shit that they publicize and try to, because like they know that they can get us angry and moving and forgetting about all the things that we really need to be focused on because of this one subject that everybody gets emotional over, and there's cold hard facts that we try to tell you about, and I gotta be a coon because I'm the one saying it.
Yeah, well, I have to say, I believe it totally misses the point because they're saying that, okay, more white people are getting killed than black people. Okay, well, look, does that point to some kind of problem that we need to be dealing with instead of talking about if there were white people or black people? They're killing American citizens left and fucking right. Why are we not talking about that?
Well, I think to some extent, yes, because it's like, can we have a real conversation instead of us getting emotionally driven? Because it's fucked up that anybody's getting killed by police that's unarmed and they're not taking a proper precaution for it. And it's like, to me, like, a bunch of things that we see, we got to be careful of how we see it, because just like I just mentioned about Kanye and Candace, like, they have agendas. They're doing things on their own, but at the same time, they're still presenting a truth. So it's just like, all right, how am I gonna involve myself in this, or do I involve myself in this? Because my biggest problem that I have with my people is that y'all still get upset about shit that Kanye say or do.
And I think that points to another thing. Like, we can't get caught up in these personalities because a human is a human. They're gonna be wrong. They're gonna be right or whatever. They're gonna, whatever. Like, we should be focusing on the ideas. What is truth? What is actually good information? You know what I'm saying? Regardless of whose mouth is coming out of.
That's because
I
people
mean,
idolize these people and they put them on a pedestal like they're God, and they're not God. You know what I'm saying? Like, these people are no different. Yeah, they have money, yeah, they have a platform, but at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? That's the biggest issue right there, is that the fact that people idolize them, and and then people want to get emotional about the whole thing. Well, it's about black people right now. No, in order to deal with injustices, you got to look at this shit as a whole. You can't look at it halfway or one-sided. You know what I'm saying? It has to be brought to the table. Everything has to be laid out.
and if you're a good human being, you're not gonna just want just information that's just gonna suit you. Like, you got to be
Yeah.
fair. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, the whole thing is that, like,
The
the
unflattering truth.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
some things like it's uncool to say, in a lot of places, but it's like, okay, so because I understand, I know a different truth than what you might realize because you get your information from the news and I get my information from research that I've actually took time to do. I didn't take the easy way by letting somebody tell me what they want me to hear. No, I went and I found information that actually is like documented and like shoot, like a lot of things that the news told you if you would have went to the CDC website, you would have went to, different websites, you could see real numbers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I also want to say this. I feel like like the name of the show is The Power of Grifting, and I feel like this guy from that they was just showing on PragerU clip. That's what he does. I really believe that like him, Candace Owens, shit, Kanye West, they freaking just be sensationalizing people for their own benefit, for their own profit.
Look,
It's there's
I
money. There's
think
a
I
lot
got
of money in it.
I think I got it figured out with the Kanye West thing because not a day or two. I think a day later or 2 days later after the WLM shirts. Guess who he's threatening for their job? Adidas. He was making a move on Adidas, and I think that whole move was to prove that he could still get the whole world talking about whatever he's doing, regardless of
Yeah,
whatever it is.
they ended their contract. He ended his contract with Adidas. Um, that's one of the things that recently happened. So yeah, like I was saying before, I mean, he's really talented at doing that. Like he's really gifted at freaking
Uh,
world stop. Look
But
at Kanye.
but look at but look but see but it's not. I mean, I don't necessarily blame him because
You,
like I blame myself. I blame us.
I'm
I,
telling
I
you,
really
man.
blame us
He's
more
he's like,
than he.
hey, look at me, and then we all look at him.
Yeah, I mean because I mean honest like we just gave him like we're giving him money every time just, if we look at us digging in our pocket and giving him $5 or $10 every time we see spend a minute 2 minutes an hour talking about the shit that he done, like we might as well be giving him money out of our pocket, like we're paying we give paying him attention.
Yeah,
So
and data and data information is money. Our eyeballs is money. So each time we
all
spend
of yes,
looking at the picture or whatever it is, boom,
you
that's
did
it.
it.
They're making
You
money.
yes. So it's like, okay, why we like like us, because that's what frustrated me more than anything. All right, we are media. We are here to give a perspective and maybe help people you know think through some of these things that what they're seeing. But just an average everyday like person, like why does it matter? Like you couldn't even pay your light bill. Like
Right.
you borrowed $100 to eat for the rest of the week, and you talking about Kanye?
Like you really should be thinking about some other shit. But then too, you have to think about the flip side of that. If they be talking about homeless people and drugs or whatever, I think that's related to it. It's kind of like a drug for sober people, a distraction because they're living in their miserable ass life and they need Kanye distractions every now and then. Some kind of Kanye type distraction.
Yeah.
Give them something to talk about so they can get through their day.
I get it. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, I got fussed at because like, well, black people are angry because I was like, look, I'm a black person too. Like, I understand why they're angry, but I'm still trying. I'm like, and I'm angry because you know, like, that part matters to them about what this one individual is not they mama. You know what I'm saying? Like like the people who really matter in within your circles, your circle or circles, like you know what I'm saying? Y'all don't even like y'all need to have a conversation about how the fuck to get out of this bullshit that you in. Like, is shit still fucking happening that's trying to lock you down, steal your rights, and feed you bullshit that's gonna kill you? Like, are you like doing anything to prepare your own shit? Like, that's why I'm angry, because like everybody thinks it's just fucking la la land and everything that's happening is just, just freaking just happening. No, like a lot of the shit that you see on TV is a distraction. They're programming you.
And I hate that people like give it like, okay, it's okay to be religious or whatever, but I hate that people are just like, well, like they're pacifists. They're like, there's nothing you can do about it. It's just whatever. Like, that's just what's happening. Like, you know, why are you so mad? Because you can't do nothing about it anyways. You're
No,
just a
because
regular person.
because I want to see my generations make it past this bullshit. I only have one son, and like I'm fighting like hell to find people that think like me. Like, I mean, I found some people, but they're so far in between, and I'm trying to get my things together. So if nobody else I'm closer to don't get their shit together, I'm out. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, I hate to say it that way, but that's just really how I feel. Like, I mean, look, it's about survival, and if you don't if you can't see the shit that's happening, and what direction it's going in, if you don't change, then like I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. Like I say, you see a boulder rolling down the mountain and you tell the people, hey, it's a boulder rolling down the mountain, bro. If you stay right here, you're gonna get smushed. You don't know what you're talking about. That's fake news. You just want me to get up. You're just trying to
Eh, well,
scheme
I
me
mean,
or
and
something.
if it's coming from the top of the mountain, the velocity should spin it fast enough so it'll go right over top of us. No, no, bro. It's gonna
Oh,
smash your head wide open, straight to the fat meat.
or they're gonna say God gonna protect me. I'm gonna be good.
Oh Lord, yeah. He been trying to give you enough signs and symbols, enough information for you to realize, but no, you keep thinking the shit funny. You think it's a joke.
Yeah,
And oh my God,
I think the way our attitudes as a community right now, the way we like are towards each other, I really think a lot of people would get smushed, and because they just like are so arrogant and so like don't want to be wrong and so like I don't know, man, vindictive. The way people
but
are in
everything is
traffic.
they think that everything is a conspiracy theory instead of realizing that, okay, yeah, some theories always be theories, but some theories turn out to be facts. And if you're really paying attention, you'll start seeing the facts, which ones are facts, and protect yourself from that. I mean, shit. I mean, when people telling you somebody's buying up thousands of acres of farmland that nobody trusts, why the hell you ain't? You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have some little a 5x5 of something growing. Like, start doing something. Like, I mean, I don't want to have to rely on somebody who I like. They telling me I shouldn't trust. They done ran all through Africa doing things that's supposed to help people, and then you find out that they look. Nobody know where the people at no more.
Yeah. And I just feel like we're so mean to each other. Like there was a story recently where these two dudes was having road rage with each other and they shot at each other in the car. They ended up shooting each other's daughter.
No, man.
True story.
I was about to just say, please tell me that's some bullshit. Please tell
It's
me
a true
that's
story.
not.
They didn't die. The kids aren't dead. They're alive, but they got shot by
That's
each
what I'm
other's
talking about,
dad.
bro. And like it's some one part of me wants to ask, okay, I mean, oh, they white or they black, but really it don't matter. Like, I mean, that's just ignorance, bro.
Yep.
Like it's total ignorance, and like none of us should be acting like that with each other. Whether it was a black and a white, two whites, two blacks, an Asian and a white, like we say, bro, like we're at some point we're gonna have to realize, like, all right, if we want to war against each other, like, I mean, maybe if we try to come together and we put an end to the bullshit that's happening in DC, and we create something that where we can be fair with each other, because I mean we already have a good example of the government that, if our government worked the way it's supposed to, it would be great. Like, I mean, we could be like we could really be living in the land of milk and honey. It's just that we're allowing people to rob us blind, send our resources across the world that we could still do when we have things put in order for everybody to be able to, you know, do well, or but bro, like we gotta do something. But I mean, a democracy, like, if we continue, we don't have to change. We don't have to change anything other than the people that's in office, and we, actually follow the rule of law. If we do that and we respect each other and their ideas and their thoughts or whatever, we'll be fine.
And
No
that's what we
matter
need to
what,
do on a country. If we could do it with each other, then we can do it as nations. And then the world would
when
be in harmony.
look
We
when the
could be
Europe,
building bridges. We could be building trains that go across the whole world.
bro, look,
Imagine that.
I want people to I want people to, because this is marked in history. When they came here, we were already mixed people. Like we this is like this concept of dark people and light people, white people, whatever you want to call them, were intermixing way before Columbus. So I mean,
I saw a story about them having an idea for a train that went across like Russia and all through Europe. And like that would be so crazy. And then that would make so much sense. And it's really weird how you have this dynamic where Russia is right there next to Europe, and then but they're completely like separated. It's kind of like back. Y'all remember the Berlin Wall? Am I saying it right?
yes,
And that
Berlin
it
Wall, yeah,
and so all from at that time it extended all the way to there. And on one side you had like what the European countries, the West, and then you had what maybe the East or whatever you want to call it, communism and Russia and all of that. Like so, and the wall went right through the damn country. But since then it has shrunk. But I'm still, it's crazy how that dynamic is because all the resources that they have there that's close and they don't have to be buying their shit from China or even the Americas so far away. They could be dealing with these people are more ethnically like them in a lot of ways.
yeah.
They're all European or Asian
Well,
is a better way of saying it.
they're all Asians.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
So
mean, I mean, look, it's really insane the way the world is, and the comment the brother just made, man. Like, I've had that thought many times already, and I mean, I like to say I agree with him. I mean, when he was saying it, I'm just like, hell yeah, I believe so too. I mean, at least and it don't have to be all black people, but I think at some point, like, you know, it's a certain temperament you must have for people. You can't have contempt for people and think that you're gonna, serve them properly, or because because that's really what you like. You're in service, like you're doing
and you're not gonna
God's
be
work. You're
fair with
doing God's
somebody
work.
if you feel like they're lesser than you, like they're not on your level, like they're not
Yeah,
even
that
human. Like you're not gonna be fair with them. You have to have a
exactly.
premise that that they're not inferior to you for you to even begin to, because see how people treat pets and
see, but that's the
animals.
thing. I know, but the thing is that if you if you're in a service job where that's what you do, you serve the people, like your compassion must be high.
Right,
You must,
because the king is the servant. The who's up? The
yes,
ruler is the servant of the people, no matter what.
yes, yeah. Don't matter what your bloodline is, you the king, and
And if
because you come
if
from a
you
long
don't
line.
serve the people are gonna freaking dethrone your ass. Period. That's just how
Well,
it works. You have to submit to the will, and that's why they have that rule that they say we have to rule by consent. We have to rule by consent. They follow that because they know.
Yeah.
I want to play this clip because I figure Candace Owens clip will get us going. Because I was talking about grifting, and we texted about it earlier, and I got some more stuff on Candace Owens if we want to keep going on her though.
Suggesting that white lives matter is antithetical to black lives matter. It's fucking crazy to me. Meaning the whole shit about ALM and don't forget about.
Fuck, I wanted this to start over. My bad, y'all. Hold on, I can't get it to start over.
Well, I would say we can go in on her because see, that's one of the things that like I guess I've been debating with because I hadn't really heard. I mean, like I see her from time to time, but I don't necessarily care. So I mean, that's maybe why I haven't noticed all of the
She's becoming a
things.
really powerful figure. What did somebody say? Somebody said Trump and Candace Owens VP. I think that's what somebody said.
Oh hell no.
Man, did y'all hear about what's his name? The Rock is talking about he's like contemplating running for president.
No, he already done already said that because he talked about that like last year or so about maybe running, and then like I think he done got enough threats that he said he's just gonna focus on being a father.
Yeah, but it's just crazy the environment that we live in for like who's gonna be our freaking politicians, who's gonna be helping writing laws and stuff. They're celebrities. They're like people that we just look up to. We just like them. Dwayne Johnson is a likable guy, bro. Like I'm a bit of a fan of him. That one Walking Tall, the one with the 4x4, that movie, I felt the shit out of that movie.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so, but I don't
but
want him to be my president, though. I
yeah.
vehemently think that he wouldn't be able to do a good job.
I mean, because usually, like, I mean, we've had examples. Ronald Reagan was an actor and all this when he was coming up, and these people, like, just like then, it's probably going to be worse now because, like, they get controlled by some political pack that like pretty much all of them do. But that's why I would rather see, just regular everyday people. Like it could be a lotto. I mean, like, we all get taught how to, how the government's supposed to run. It's just like, okay, call your name out. All right, you got to serve in this position for, 2 years, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And everybody go do what they got to do. When they done, they go back to the job that they was doing. Like I go back to driving trucks. So, whatever it is I'm doing when it's all said and done. So it could be more fair of what people, what we're dealing with, because I mean, like I said, democracy is really based on, like, it's supposed to really run somewhat by itself because the laws are set. A lot of the stuff that we see happening, like if we really looked at a lot of the laws that they've passed, like we could probably really challenge them all in Supreme Court and they all get thrown out because most of it is bullshit.
I don't know about relying on the Supreme Court. Let me play this clip I've been trying to play.
The White Lives Matter t-shirt on first. You did. It wasn't Kanye West that put the White Lives Matter t-shirt on first. You did. You did by intentionally ignoring what what Black Lives Matter would actually mean if it was applied.
And it's people like this that are exactly the reason why I say what I say in the way that I say it. I'm about to ether your shit. Now rewind. Let's run this shit back point by point.
It wasn't Kanye West that put the White Lives Matter t-shirt on first. You did. You did by intentionally ignoring what Black Lives Matter would actually mean if it was applied.
The simultaneous gall and irony of somebody who's on a network that is literally funded by fossil fuel billionaires to push a conservative worldview telling us that we deliberately ignore what BLM would mean is fucking crazy to me. Two, the simultaneous gall and irony of you telling the Black community, look what you made me do, when both you and Kanye West are incredibly wealthy and could be educated on these topics if you gave a fuck, is crazy to me. Three, the fact that you don't fucking realize that you saying Black people are ignoring the issues in the community, thus you had to put on the White Lives Matter shirt, is implicitly suggesting that White Lives Matter is antithetical to Black Lives Matter, is fucking crazy to me. Meaning the whole shit about ALM and, oh, don't forget about white people because we go through shit too, was literally just all bullshit according to your logic. Don't you have some media training? How did y'all watch that footage back and not realize that you just contradicted the fuck out of yourself? And four, we'll get to the discussion about what Black Lives Matter would actually mean in a minute after I let you get up real quick.
It would mean taking a look at the real problem that is happening, which is our culture, a celebration of perversity pitched to us as if it's diversity. It's not. It is not diversity that we are celebrating. It is perversity.
You said the same thing twice, and both times it meant less than nothing. One, where does culture come from, Candace? Tell me where. If you're trying to make the argument that Black people are just genetically predisposed to have a bad culture, please do, and you'll get blown the fuck out of the water. But if I'm going to be charitable to you and assume you're not making that argument, you have to acknowledge that culture comes from environment. And I wonder if there's a connection between the environment in which Black people in America were placed in and the outcomes in their culture and socioeconomic status. See, the difference with me is I don't just say shit, I back it up. Here's a study on racism and the effects of the mental health of Black people, reviewing the evidence that points to a myriad of ways that racism can have a negative impact on Black people. Oh, but it gets worse for you. Let's run back what you just showed in your video.
It would mean taking a look at the real problem that is happening, which is our culture.
Please tell me how the fuck a BLM protest is the real problem happening in the Black community. And then you showed Cardi B as if to say that hip hop and the culture around that is the actual problem in the Black community. And now I'm about to show you fundamentally why that's fucking stupid. This goes for anyone out there who believes this too. Here's a study on gang violence in LA, significantly linking proportion of employment and per capita income to gang related activity. Or we can look at socioeconomic status as a fundamental cause of street criminality. And the studies can keep coming because this is not up for fucking debate. The very basis of some of these rap songs that you guys love to talk about are coming from the environment in which Black people were placed in and their socioeconomic status. Rap in itself did not stem from the happy-go-lucky circumstances of Black people in America. So telling rappers to shut up about their experiences still does not fix the fucking system. And before you say Black fatherlessness, take a gander at where they're going. Blaming an outcome for the wrong of a system is as stupid as blaming dishes for not being washed properly and not the dishwasher. And this deliberately shitty line of argumentation you love to engage in stems from the tendency of racist people to view Black people as more violent and their culture as problematic. So let me make something abundantly clear. You do not care about these issues. If you did, I'm looking forward to your peer-reviewed response to the evidence. If not, keep tap dancing.
It wasn't
First of all, if he's talking to Candace, like, she's probably never going to see his shit because, I mean, I don't know him. You know, if we were talking about Tariq Nasheed, you know, somebody who's, you know, popular enough to say something like that, but like he's I feel sorry for him because I mean I get his point, and you know he's got his anger going or whatever, but I mean we don't really like that's like he's kind of doing what the
I still
media
love my
does.
beer, but
Yeah, he's kind of doing what the media does. He puts one thing up there without allowing the context to flow. You know, he cuts her off before she really starts saying whatever. And speaking out of anger, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm still confused about a lot of stuff that he said, even though, like, I heard most of it. It's just, yeah, all those things are happening, but, like, some things we don't, like, we have a choice, and when people give us something to watch on TV, or you know that they're trying to sell us, whether it's TV or in the mall or whatever, we don't have to accept it. Like, we don't have to grab it and make it our own. And you know, it's you know, the ratchetness or whatever, those types of things. Like, we don't have to make that who we are. I think that's the point that she was trying to make, but you know, if you're gonna blame everything on everything else, like, I mean, yes, a lot of those things do have a factor in it, but at some point we really have to be responsible for ourselves and not blame, you know, if we come together on some things and not fight each other on so many different things, like we could really, like, we're the richest black people on the planet. Like if we really brought our resources together, you know, we could have changed a lot of stuff a long time ago. But that's one thing that we'll fight people over, that is, you know, oh, unity. Why would I, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Like I said, I know I'm weird, bro. Like I'm you know, I said to my friend, I don't know, maybe I think too white, like I'm a white person, or you know what I'm saying. But I'm just one of those people that believe that we cannot, you know, point the finger. You know, you know, especially the people who talking about we, you know, we're the mothers and fathers of civilization, to keep blaming other people on us not being who we really meant to be. Like how long, you know what I'm saying, how long we gonna keep repeating this cycle before we get it? I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know either.
it's tough for me, bro, because like, you know, I got people in my family. I live around people who I feel are really geniuses, like super smart as hell. But because of like personal competitions between each other, like, you know, oh, I don't want to do what they doing because they gonna say I got, you know, try to take something from them. Like, not like, I don't know, man. I'm just gonna let it be.
Well, check this out. I'm sure this will spark you. Check it.
Can I just first ask, what is this event?
Oh God.
And what are we going to see the next couple of days here in DC?
You know, we have received so much interest over a period of time in the sort of youth Black conservative movement. It felt like we really wanted to harness the power and the opportunity and invite everyone to DC, first and foremost, to bring them to conservative ideas. A major hurdle that the Black community faces is not having the resources to get to different ideas and sort of being locked inside of a bubble. And having them listen to speakers that they perhaps haven't heard before, Dr. Ben Carson, Larry Elder, people who are routinely mocked in our community. So this is the first ever opportunity to do that in DC, and we're really excited that it's happening this weekend. Charlie, what are you hoping that the president gets out of these interviews?
Well, I first want to take a step back and just give Candace Owens credit for changing national conversation around
Aww.
conservative kind of perspective.
Aww.
This year, when I first met Candace, one of the first things she said is, Charlie, I think we can have a young Black leadership summit that can be a lot bigger than any of the, you know, pundits or the consultants would ever dream. And I mean, tomorrow, 400 plus young Black leaders from across the country. That's an accomplishment, especially of a conservative, you know, tilt, if you will.
And the number could have been much higher.
And that's right. And so the number could have been higher, and it was the last minute influx of interest. And we had probably 5x that in applicants and an increase. But what Candace Owens and our urban engagement director, Brandon Tatum, have done at Turning Point USA to really garner more interest amongst the Black community for conservative values, I think it's worth having the conversation. And it's something that, with given all the recent, you know, news and attention around these issues, I think is something that
Stick your head all the way in her butt.
You know, there's
Go ahead.
obviously a bit of skepticism.
Say
As long as
what?
I've been in the
Nothing, go ahead.
conservative politics, as long as I've been a conservative, which is probably about sophomore year of high school, there have been conversations.
It's gonna get interesting in a second when Crystal Ball and Candace Owens gonna go back and forth.
Ben Carson,
I
others,
know. I saw it.
come forward.
You saw this?
But-
Oh, I sent this to y'all. Yeah.
What are you seeing that's
Yeah.
different now, really? Like, why is it? I mean, to Charlie's
But
point,
let
he's
the
saying that
people
you changed
see.
the conversation. How and why is the conversation different?
It's funny that you say that because I was able to meet with Dr. Ben Carson early on this year, and we spoke about that. Like, what are the differences? Why are people paying a little more attention now? And I think that, and to his credit, in the past, the conversation was almost so intellectual that it was hard for people to digest and process and to understand. And because the left had won the culture war, it was easy for them to mock them, you know, to see a skit where perhaps Dr. Ben Carson or Dr. Condoleezza Rice are being mocked. And I think I'm a little more of a fighter, definitely in terms of starting my channel on YouTube and wanting it to be colloquial and wanting it to feel familiar, like you were talking to your brother and sister, and sort of taking back some of the turf that was lost on the culture war by making fun of people on the left in the same way that they make fun of us. I think that sort of helped bridge the gap and make people more interested in having the discussion.
Okay.
Does it bother you that there's no prominent African Americans in the White House itself? Do you think
Sure,
that's
there is.
important?
Duran,
I mean,
Dr. Ben Carson's part of the executive branch.
and-
That's not
Yeah,
true. You know that's not
well,
true.
within the White House
Duran
itself,
is an executive with
what
Jared
is
Kushner.
his role?
He's a DAP, which is a
Remember this?
deputy
Yeah,
assistant
y'all
to the
remember
president
this
of the United States,
question?
the top tier. So that's not true. You know,
Who
that's
are
not true.
other individuals in the White House?
Well, I want to go back and answer your question. So,
Yeah.
and one thing that we always speak when we speak to conservatives about is we have to stop believing in this illusion that because somebody is black, they represent my interests. We learned that lesson via Barack Obama. I mean, he was in the White House
That's
for 8
true.
years and didn't do much for the black community. So I'm not interested in the color of people's skin.
So
I'm
it's-
interested in what they do and
Yeah.
what they
So
accomplish.
I'm really interested in your perspective here. Yeah. So to you, having like you don't look at it is an administration that has more white men than past administrations have had.
Yeah,
but that doesn't bother you. You don't think that diversity is
no,
important?
not at all. I think that we have to stop believing that diversity is the color of people's skin, because if you have like the Black Caucus, for example, which didn't stand up and applaud when Trump announced that we had the lowest ever unemployment in the black community, that's concerning to me. So a big part of the conversation that we open is in making people understand that's an illusion that the left has sold, that somehow because somebody matches my skin color, because somebody matches my gender, they have my best interests at heart.
That's
And
kind of that part
completely
is true.
I have to ask about Kanye.
I know.
Because you two have been seen, photographed with, spend time with Kanye. He, I got a tremendous, we had to speak about it on the show, got a tremendous amount of attention from the media from a recent meeting in the Oval Office. How does he...
Wait, I gotta let people know that this is an old clip, y'all. Okay, it's crazy that they're talking about Kanye and Candace Owens. This is a really old clip. It was posted on October 10th, but this is from years ago because.
But see, but this was while Trump was in office.
Yeah.
And they had, this is Candace and Kanye when they, began their friendship and, somewhat working together, because like neither one of them are Republicans. Like myself, I'm not a Republican, but I'm a conservative. I have a conservative outlook on the world and values. So that's where we're similar. You know what I'm saying? But
I just had to say that because the conversation and everything sounded like it could have been happening right now.
Right now, well, to some extent, I guess you could say that, but
So I just want to make sure people wasn't confused on that. Yeah. So let it play some more because the argument that they get into is great, and
it is.
And Candace has good points. But
does the other woman have any good points?
She's eating her up, I think, in a lot of ways, because the thing is the hypocrisy, the part where she got her was when she said, because she asked her about the diversity within the White House, and then she was like, no, color of skin is not the diversity that we're talking about. But then she's like, well, I just brought 100 black conservatives to the White House. It's like, okay, well, you just said that the color is not the diversity. So what are you talking about? That was like boom for me. Check it.
Key factor. Look, I feel like conservatives play this game that we go back and forth. If anybody who's famous starts talking in any way that conservatives like, we embrace them right away, and then sometimes we feel like we get burned later. They're not as conservative as we thought. Kanye has such a huge megaphone. He's obviously somewhat of a controversial figure as well, based on what he said in the past. Charlie, just to start with you, how does he play into all this other than, I want to hear from both of you on this, but how does he play into all this other than just getting a lot of attention? You know what I mean? How is he changing the
I'll be
conversation?
the first one to admit, I was your typical macroeconomic loving kind of conservative individual that wasn't part of the culture that, you got a high paperback in your bag. I know what I mean. Like,
this guy's an empty suit.
On reading Free to Choose and Ludwig von Mises. And I think it's amazing that someone like Kanye West is broadening the conversation. And it was Candace that opened my eyes to this.
Seriously.
And
God.
I wasn't that I was resistant, but I was like, really, Candace? Like, wait, what do you mean that we can? She said, no, you don't understand.
Oh my God.
Kanye West can change the national conversation on these issues, and I think that he's more of a Trump supporter than
he's sticking his head in Kanye's ass now.
Our friend Dave Rubin saying this back in September of 2017, kind of predicting the Kanye movement, I guess you could say.
The Kanye movement, yeah.
Oh my God.
And I think that's true.
Oh my
I've sort of
God.
followed Kanye's
He's
career for a very long
just a
time.
buffer.
So when I was asked that question, who I admire, I said Kanye West because he's always been, long before Donald Trump came down the escalator, it was Kanye West that's been the battering ram against political correctness. And I knew that someone with his personality wasn't going to be able to exist comfortably on the left anymore because we are now being told what to think, how we have to think, who we have to love, who we have to hate. And that's not comfortable for anybody that's an artist. And their stranglehold on culture is really what Kanye is sort of taking a stab at. Now, I want to be clear, based off of my conversations with him, he's not a Republican, you know, and I think that that's an important thing to distinguish and to make clear distinction to make, because in many ways I've said I'm not a Republican either, but he is a free thinker and he values ideas. And unfortunately, if you believe in the ability to think and to have a dialogue, that is a position that's on the right today.
So Candace, I do want to ask you about news of the day. Obviously, we have all these explosive devices that have been sent to prominent critics of this administration.
Right.
And in a tweet, you originally said you thought there was zero chance conservatives sent bombs. I think you took that tweet down.
Yeah.
But you later added, it isn't conservatives that are chasing people down in offices and restaurants. It isn't conservatives that have weaponized sexual assault as a means to political gain. I stand by my opinion that when it comes to political violence, the left is the likely culprit.
That's correct. So we've seen that.
So you think that it was the left or Democrats who sent
Well,
these spike bombs?
I think we're all entitled to have an opinion. We don't have any facts surrounding this, and Twitter is a venue where you're allowed to express your opinions and beliefs. And
But just to be clear, so that's not based on any facts. That's just
of course
your
it couldn't possibly be based on facts. We don't have any evidence other than the fact that they're investigating it. But
And I'll come to Candace's.
I do want to finish this by just saying that
Shut up.
it is my belief when you take a look at the conversation and things that have gone on and the increasing violence that's gone on, it has purely been a leftist tactic to stall things, delay the administration, and to fearmonger. So as a matter of opinion, I do believe that when we get to the resolution, the bottom of this, and we do have facts, we're going to see that this is orchestrated by the left. But by no means is that opinion rooted in any proof because we don't have anything yet.
I mean, I could certainly point to Charlottesville. I could point to other acts that happen. I could point to Dylan Roof. I mean, there's certainly acts of violence that have come from
But do you see how far back you have to go to do that?
Charlottesville?
Yeah, that's literally starting at the beginning of his administration. Look at all of the things that have gone on.
I don't want to have this debate because ugliness can come from both sides.
No, I'm just saying that you brought it up.
I do want to ask you though.
Just answering the question.
I mean, you've got a big platform.
I do.
Right, and you have a powerful voice.
Thank you.
And kudos to
Thank
you
you.
for creating that.
Thank you.
How do you view the responsibility that comes with that?
I view the responsibility of just being a person that maintains my ability to have an opinion, that I express an opinion, and no means that I say that I have just found the facts and this is related.
Yeah.
And I always
You said
reserve the
there's
right.
0% chance.
Yeah. I said I'm going to go out and say that there is a 0% chance that this was sent by conservatives. I find all the things that are going on, the caravan of illegals, the packages that are being sent,
And you
Brett
think the
Kavanaugh's confirmation.
and just to clarify, you think the caravan too was organized by
I find it
Democrats?
to be incredibly suspicious timing, so that they are meant to get to the border on the day of the election. Again, this is not rooted in fact, but you do have to understand I am very much entitled to my opinion, and Twitter is my platform.
Candace, I have one more.
Just one more here because
Let him go.
I wanted to get
Stop
to know you
interrupting.
before you came on. And I'm really interested in your perspective because I think you're a fascinating person.
Thank you.
There was another tweet
you.
that said the Democratic Party is comprised of racist white liberals.
That is correct.
Am I a racist white liberal?
Well, let's go back. And let's say, I will say this, that many people in the party are not aware of their own racism. Let's go back to an early part of this conversation where you said to me, are you concerned about the color in the White House? Why would you ask me that question?
Because you speak about Black issues.
No, but why would you ask me? Well, let's get to really the nucleus of this. Why did you ask me that question today?
Because
why did you feel that I needed to be concerned about that?
Because you're bringing a whole group of young African American leaders to the White House.
Okay, so this is something that I talk about often, is that in many ways, white liberals don't realize that you put on that the racism and the conversations that we have.
So you're saying I'm a racist?
You haven't let me finish my statement. You keep cutting me off.
Go ahead.
Okay. The emphasis that you place is always on having a discussion about race. Okay, you guys are insistent on having a conversation about race and telling us that we should see and implying that we should see race everywhere, and I don't agree with that. If you don't look at me according to the color of my skin, you would simply ask me how I thought that Trump was doing as a president. But instead, you try to drum up a conversation that's surrounded by race by asking me, are there enough Black people in the White House?
You're bringing a whole group of young Black leaders to the White House.
Color, I don't.
That's something that's important to you.
But why are you talking about?
Then why make it that you're going to bring young Black leaders leaders to the White House. I mean, this is sort of absurd.
Because the media, as in the whole,
This is absurd. You're bringing this group to the White House.
It's not absurd. I'm making perfect sense. You're
I
just
just
not
want
following the logic.
to be clear.
Yeah.
I just want to be clear.
I'm trying to be extremely clear with you.
I know.
Bringing the Black conservatives to the White House.
Me as a racist white
I think
liberal.
that you're not. Oh, first off, you put those words in my mouth, and you keep saying it. So I'm not. I said that the Democrat Party is comprised of racist white liberals. Is every person in the party racist? No, but you're not aware of the fact that you put these racist tones out into the media. This is why we have to bring the Black conservatives to the president, because you create a narrative when you're on TV like you did today.
Are you comfortable with the fact? I'm going to have you on video later because I have questions for you as well. But we actually have to get out of the segment now.
Do you think that language is helpful, though? I mean, just in terms of the nation conversation.
Well, I could ask you, do you think it's helpful to ask me just because I'm a Black woman if I'm comfortable with the amount of color that's on the administration? Do you think that that's helpful?
I think it's helpful and interesting to know your perspective.
It's not. It's you.
They look in each other's eyes and shit.
An undertone that Donald Trump is racist, and it's wrong.
Yeah. I was waiting for the first punch to get thrown. Who gonna throw the first punch? Like cat fight.
We're making a bunch of, making a bunch of reductions. I did not. You said that. You run the tape back.
I want to say, look, here's what I want to say.
You quoted a tweet and then you made it about me. So you were not added, but you were not added in that tweet. So do not say that I called you that, because that's dishonest. And we are on TV, so you can run.
Racist.
Okay, so I did not call you a racist. You're using the typical leftist tactic of trying to make yourself a victim, which is not what I
Hold on.
No, but we're actually well beyond time.
Well, she's making herself a victim and pretending that I came here and called her racist. So this is a typical leftist tactic.
That we not demonize our opponents.
And I think it's important that you not demonize my president.
And one thing that I try very hard to do is to criticize the policies and criticize people who are in positions of power.
I'm not sure how you were doing that by pointing out the color in the administration.
But not to criticize the people who support the president.
You literally
That's something I try very hard to do.
But you're not doing a very good job of it.
And I think it's really important.
I think it's really important that you be aware that just because I'm a Black woman, you don't need to ask me a question as basic enough as saying how much color is in the administration.
To demonize our fellow
I think what's problematic is that you are creating a simulation that is dishonest, that is accusing our president of being racist based off of the color of the people that are in the. That's exactly what you asked me a question. That's what you implied.
Okay, I actually really appreciate you two coming in very much, and I look forward to getting to ask you some questions of my own at some point later on. And we're gonna have to end the segment there. But thank you, and good luck at the White House today, and thank you for bringing young African American youth.
They lost control of that segment, didn't they?
Real cool.
They lost control of that one. Comments, man. What y'all think? A lot was said.
I've been kind of in and out of it. I ain't gonna lie, I was dropping my trailer, so I didn't really catch everything. But
I think that that's why I was saying the name of the show is The Power of Grifting, and I think that Candace Owens is grifting, and I think that this video is an example of it, because her touting the fact that she's bringing Black conservatives to the White House, and then wanting to say that it's not about color. Diversity is not in the color of people's skin. So which is it, Candace?
Yeah. I don't know, bro. Sometimes I think she just be talking.
She get paid for that talking. She's blown up. She's rich as fuck. And just gonna keep racking in the cash.
Yeah.
Well, I think that woman, like they invited her on there so that she could do mostly what she did in the end. And regardless of like I'm gonna just say, like her, regardless of what's going on in the White House, I mean, she's really trying to pick on her to a great extent, like at least trying to, piss her off, get her angry, whatever. But it was just senseless. Like, I don't know. It is what it is. I'm still trying to see where she, where she be lying or
well, she be flipping sides. That's what I mean by she doesn't really care. Like she's not really like she's faking. Like it's clear because of the, because how she jumps on, from one side to another on a particular topic or whatever. Like she flows with the wind. And I'm not saying that she's not the only one that does that. Like that is pretty much how it goes. But we need to see what it is for what it is. You know what I mean? We need to see that what she's doing is sensationalizing. She's really intelligent and she knows what to say. And some of the stuff is actually true, but it's used in a way to just sensationalize people so that they can be easily manipulated. She works for the powers that be. She's a soldier. She's good at what she does. But she's really overall an enemy of the people, whether you're black or white or conservative or liberal, because the peoples that you have out here that are just so in confusion that wants us to be fighting with each other about this and that. Like I say, when we was talking in the other show, like you throw in the topic of transgender and now nothing gets done. So that's what these kind of people do. This is what they do so that the powers that be, the corporations, can keep on just raking in the cash while we're fighting over fucking transgender bathrooms or whatever. And they get paid a lot of money. It's a very lucrative job. You tell people what they want to hear, you sensationalize them, and you leave out the door with the bag. And then the big boss is really leaving out the door with the huge bag. Because if they paying her all the money they're paying her, it's got to be for a reason. Nobody pays you money without wanting a freaking return on their freaking investment. Anyways, that's how I see it. What do y'all think?
Maybe I'm too simple, but it looks like the girl got invited to their show just so that she can have 5 minutes or so to try to make her look bad when I think she failed miserably. Like, I mean, I had to realize that some people, some of us live, but well, all of us live based on what we know, what we see, what we understand, and there's some of us that have a different angle and see things a little bit differently because, you know, maybe our parents raised us with a different perspective or whatever. So it's a lot of things I think that this girl be saying that it's just over a lot of people's heads. And then, she says something that they don't believe. Now she's a coon. And it's just, I don't think that's fair because people just don't really don't understand what is happening. Or you trying to make a sound bite out of something she said. Because like I said, I'm still trying to find a place where they say that, you know, where she lies or
she's a grifter. That's what it is. She's a grifter. It's not that what did you say, that she's a coon or whatever. It's that she's grifting. That's what she's doing. And that's what we have to be aware of. That's like the point of what I'm trying to say.
grifting as in like she's flip flops from like on
She says what needs to be said for her to cash her check. What I need to say today? What y'all want me to say today? Where my check? Is my check already signed? Okay. I got you. I'll say that shit. You're like, you reading this shit and be like, damn, that's some crazy shit. I'm supposed, y'all really want me to say this shit? Yeah, we want you to say this shit. Okay. That's what I think. Check this out. I have a little bit more.
Because I decided that while I'm out here taking hits for my views and the trolls and the haters are all on my back, if I'm man enough to do it, I know you're man and woman enough to do it as well. Not everybody wants that. And not everybody wants to be in that position. That's okay. No problem. This show may not be for you. But in saying that, let's get into this right here. I'm going to show this video. And we're going to talk about it. And then we're going to go open the lines up for people to call in. So let me share my screen right here. Share the screen.
He's gonna play a Candace Owens clip where she's talking about the womb
Candace have to say.
is the worst place for a black baby.
To actually do something that was inclusive, to say, actually, white Americans, you are allowed to be a part of this too, because literally all lives matter. And in fact, no lives have been mattering. Black Americans are suffering as a result because of Black Lives Matter. We know that their neighborhoods have been rioted in inner city communities, and the businesses are moving out of there. The result of Black Lives Matter has been white supremacy, assuming that Black Americans were stupid and emotional and would loot and riot their own communities to fulfill a false narrative about policing. And so we got to say all of that by wearing one t-shirt.
Okay, hold 1 second here. That was the one part. And let's go ahead and listen to the second part right here.
Dark. It makes them so mad because there is actually in this country a hatred toward white people. It is undeniable. The worst thing that you can be in this country, far from what they're telling you, I would say two things. First and foremost, a black child in the womb of its mother. That is the most unsafe place for a black child to be. The second thing is a white straight male, right? Because they perceive that as being too normal, right? It's too normal for you to be a white straight male. You need to make yourself somehow problematized by saying that you're trans, that you're suffering, that you're gay, that you're Hispanic, that you have a biracial mother, something. People are dying to say that they're anything but being white. And again, that is the commentary that we offer by wearing these shirts. You actually cannot, right now, today on TikTok, you cannot use the hashtag White Lives Matter because they say that it inspires hatred. And in fact, banning hashtag White Lives Matter is what inspires hatred. The saddest part of this, Tucker, which I want to add, is that after wearing the shirt and getting back here down in Tennessee, I went to a farmer's market and I had white people coming up to me with tears in their eyes. And I told Kanye this, tears in their eyes saying, thank you so much, as if they're the forgotten people, for just allowing us to have our voices back. They've been sitting in silence, completely sidelined, told that they are not allowed to be American because there's a vicious narrative around that somehow Black Americans are suffering from policing and therefore white lives can't matter. They do. It's obvious. Kanye was correct.
What do y'all think?
You know,
she said a whole lot, man. The part about freaking, what did she say? Hold on, let me take it back. Let's take it back. It's the second part that I want to talk about.
Be in this country, far from what they're telling you, I would say two things. First and foremost, a black child in the womb of its mother. That is the most unsafe place for a black child to be.
Black child in the womb of his mother is the most unsafe place for a black child to be.
The second thing is a white straight male, right? Because they perceive that as being too normal, right? It's too normal for you to be a white straight male. You need to make yourself somehow problematized by saying that you're trans, that you're suffering, that you're gay, that you're Hispanic, that you have a biracial mother, something. People are dying to say that they're anything but being white. And again, that is the commentary that we offer by wearing.
She's saying there's a anti-white racism. Come on, man. Come on. That's crazy talk. That's crazy talk right there. And the thing about the black child in the womb, so where else is the black child supposed to be if not in the womb? What other place is safer? Like, that's like saying that the black child shouldn't be. Like, there's no safe place for the black child. So what are you saying? Are you saying that the black child or the black ones are under attack? Or are you saying that there's a anti-white racism and it's the straight white male is under attack? What are you saying?
I think she needs to add more dialect to what she's saying or what she's trying to get across, because the way that it comes off, shit just doesn't make sense. You know, I didn't get what she was saying right there. In all honesty, maybe I'm just slow or something. I don't know.
I didn't get it either because it didn't make no damn sense.
I mean, is she saying that the worst place for a black child is a black mother's womb? Is she getting at that black women are the majority when it comes to aborting babies? Is that what she's trying to portray? Is that
Yeah,
what she's trying to get across?
yeah, that's
I
what
mean,
she's getting across. But still, like, you know, to say that is just, where is the safe place for the black child? That invokes a whole bunch of shit. Like that invokes shit like for me in my mind, like what do you call it when you are freaking destroying the people, like as far as like killing a race, like genocide. That's like, maybe I'm leaping, but it's like, that's the idea. Like there's no safe place, they're not even safe in the womb, then shit, they don't need to freaking exist. All of them need to go. It's like roaches. That's what I'm hearing.
yeah, yeah. I didn't get that part.
It's crazy talk. It's crazy talk. Let me play some more. I'm gonna play her again.
Was inclusive to say, actually, white Americans, you are allowed to be a part of this too, because literally all lives matter. And in fact, no lives have been mattering. Black Americans are suffering as a result because of Black Lives Matter. We know that their neighborhoods have been rioted in inner city communities and the businesses are moving out of there. The result of Black Lives Matter has been white supremacy, assuming that Black Americans were stupid and emotional and would loot and riot their own communities to fulfill a false narrative about policing. And so we got to say all of that by wearing one t-shirt.
Shit.
White straight male. And so we got to say all of that by wearing one t-shirt.
She's talking crazy, man. Hold on. I want the other clip one more time.
Okay, hold 1 second here. That was the one part, and let's go ahead and listen to the second part right here.
Dork. It makes them so mad because there is actually in this country a hatred toward white people. It is undeniable. The worst thing that you can be in this country, far from what they're telling you, I would say two things. First and foremost, a black child in the womb of its mother. That is the most unsafe place for a black child to be. The second thing is a white straight male.
The worst thing you could be is a black child in the womb of his mother or a white straight male.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Right? Because they perceive that as being too normal, right? It's too normal for you to be a white straight male. You need to make yourself somehow problematized by saying that you're trans, that you're suffering, that you're gay, that you're Hispanic, that you have a biracial mother, something. People are dying to say that they're anything but being white. And again, that is the commentary that we offer by wearing these shirts. You actually cannot, right now, today on TikTok, you cannot use the hashtag White Lives Matter because they say that it inspires hatred. And in fact, banning hashtag White Lives Matter is what inspires hatred. The saddest part of this segment, which I want to add, is that after wearing the shirt and getting back here down in Tennessee, I went to a farmer's market and I had white people coming up to me with tears in their eyes. And I told Kanye this, tears in their eyes saying, thank you so much. As if they're the forgotten people. We're just allowing us to have our voices back. They've been sitting in silence, completely sidelined, told that
That's
they
why
are
she
not
makes so
allowed to
much
be
money
Americans.
right there.
There's a vicious narrative around that somehow Black Americans are suffering from policing and therefore white lives can't matter. They do. It's obvious. Kanye was correct.
It's like the identity politics. It allows them to be in their perspective without feeling like they're racist, because it's like a black woman is saying it.
Owens, I mean, she came out on the mainstream here about 3 years ago or so, 2020, I think it said. But let's read a little bit about this black woman who has a disdain for black people in the sense of, let me say this right here. Some things I'm like, okay, I can get what you're saying because I want to get to a person's understanding. And I found out more about her and I get it why she thinks the way she thinks. So I want to read this off a little bit about who is Candace Owens, because she is off track with a lot of things. Yet I finally get it with her of why she thinks the way she thinks. Sometimes we got to get to a place and understand people. Don't mean I have to agree with you. I just need to understand you. Why are you this way? Why would you say a black mother's womb is the most dangerous place for a child? And you a black woman. Now, what did she mean by that, and what was she referring to? Now, I know that, even Kanye West says that there's been more black babies killed in America by abortions than any other thing. But when you come out of your mouth and you say that the two things are like at danger, the black mother's womb is the most dangerous place for a black child, and that the white male.
And I have to say, I'm thinking about those statistics, and when they talk about the all of the black babies being aborted, you have to wonder how many of those were viable pregnancies. You know, they all go down as abortions, but they could have not been viable pregnancies. What percentage of those statistics weren't viable pregnancies?
Is the one
Yeah.
who actually is under attack? You mean the ones who went around the world to control and still control the world, basically? How in the world? See, this is the sellout mentality. In order to go on the defense for a side, in order to keep you coming, and they call in the news, they put you on, they interview you, they give you your money and stuff like that because they love it. They like to use you for the centerpiece as a means of a so-called measuring rod to show that, look, this is a black person saying this, y'all. You know how I used the white woman yesterday and what she's saying against white people? Well, they use Candace in the same way. See, white people, look what she's saying. See, if she's speaking for the whole picture, so this is what's happening. So she's talking about what the black people are doing and how society is jumping on the black side and the white people are under attack and white people can't even speak freely in America and taking your Americanism from you and all this right here so that white people can feel like, oh, it's good to hear somebody else see how we think and yet it's not us. Who's Candace? Let's go ahead to this right here. Let's see who is Candace, and we're gonna get to the root of why does she feel this way. I had to dig into her spirit because we got to find out why is she the way she is and come off saying these things. I went to a couple of sources. There again, we have to be very careful when we read articles because articles are written by man and sometimes people can slant the story, whatever. So I try to find a common information, even though there are copy and paste that goes on from one site to another site that you can read identical with one site said about another that tells you that there is a copy and a paste that goes on. But let's kind of read some of the information here and kind of stay in line. Candace Owens is a American political commentator, author, influence, talk show host, and activist. I don't know what activist she is. I don't know. She has served as a communication director for Turning Point USA, a nonprofit student organization that promotes conservative campus activities and speakers. Aside from the Candace is also a Fox News contributor, blogger, YouTuber, and the founder of a political project named Blacksit Foundation. She is widely recognized for her pro-Trump commentary and critical position on the Democratic Party. Now, I want y'all to understand she used to be anti-Trump. And she flipped sides and became a pro-Trump when she decided to change from the mindset or from a Democrat party over to a Republican party. Now, keep it here. I want y'all to know I don't represent none of those sides. I don't claim to be, never voted, and don't. I believe that the power is in my hands, and I believe that they can do nothing for me. Candace Owens' full name is Candace Amber Owens Farmers. She was born on April 29, 1989 in Stamford, Connecticut, United States. Ooh, the good old north east of America. She is 33 years old as of October 2022. Owens was born to her parents as the third of 4 children. She was raised by her grandparents. After her parents divorced, when she was around the age of 11 to 12. We're getting somewhere. We're about to dig open the skeleton bones in the closet, y'all. Candace Owens was raised by her grandparents, Robert Owens, grandfather, and Anne Caroline Dale, grandmother. After her parents split, her father worked as a property manager while her mom was a school bus monitor. Aside from this, no other information is known about them. about Candace Owens' father. The identity of Candace Owens' father is unknown, except that the fact that he was a property manager. Candace Owens also revealed that he struggled with alcohol abuse. We're digging deeper into the closet. There is no information regarding his birth and personal life about Candace Owens' mother. Just like her father, the identity of Candace Owens' mother is unknown, except for the fact that she was a school bus monitor who didn't have a high school degree. Both parents are unknown information. And that they both were either uneducated in her eyesight or that her father was just a property manager and an alcoholic. There is no other concrete information about her birth and personal life in the media at this time. About Candace Owens' siblings. Candace Owens has 3 siblings. No information is known about them lives as they live very private lives and avoid media attention. Candace Owens' marriage and wedding. As of the time of publishing this article, September 2022, and Candace is happily married to her husband, George Farmer, who is a Caucasian. The couple has been married for 3 years now. They first met in December 2018 at the soft launch of Turning Point UK. They got married a year later on August 31st, 2019 in Virginia, United States. The union is blessed with 2 children. About Candace Owens' husband, George Farmer. George Farmer is Candace Owens' legal husband as of the time of the writing. He is a British businessman, philanthropist, and political activist. He was born in 1989 in London, England. His exact birth date is not known, but he is speculated to be in his early 30s as of October 2022. George Farmer was born to his parents, Lord Michael Farmer. She wound up getting into a family who's got some position. And his mother is Jenny Farmer. His father was self-made commodity tycoon and former Tory party treasurer. Information about his mother's career unknown. George attended St. Paul Private School in London for his primary education. Later on, he proceeded into Oxford University, where he bagged a degree in theology. While in school, George Farmer was a member of the various political organizations and was active in them. He has also held many leadership positions in many organizations. Currently, he is the Chief Executive Officer, CEO of the social media app Parler. It was reported that before his appointment, George Farmer served as a Parler Chief of Operations. Farmer has also had several years of experience in the finance sector. He got married to his wife, Candace Owens, in 2019, and they have 2 children together. All right, let's come back over here and let's go ahead and start to unpeel this onion on the head mindset on the so-called spirit of Candace Owens, because she goes hard against the Black community. And now we can understand some of why her spirit detests some of the ill wills in the Black community. Now, you know me, I don't give excuses for people who do stupidity in the Black community. I don't find reason or any rhyme or reason of why I would try to belittle the Black community for some of the ignorance that people do. Black on Black crimes, yes, needs to be addressed. Yes, of course, there are abortions that are happening in the Black community. Yes, in high numbers, but also in the white communities the same. And I will not deflect the issues of trying to put it on white people that versus what's going on in the Black community. For those who know me, I will call a spade and wrong is wrong. Yet, we understand that Candace and her family member, she comes from a dysfunctional family. She comes from a family that broke up at the age of 11 or 12, at the prime of her becoming a young lady, reaching her puberty, who her father was an alcoholic. This played a tremendous impact on her psyche, on her ability to really look at her own self inwardly, spiritually, as a woman of color. Now, we know that because there is little information that is disclosed, whether or not her family members ever reconnected with her, we do not know that. But we do know these impacts from your childhood will develop and create you and who you are today. for one to be so demeaning or one to be so belittling against the black population, and I little hear about her ragging on the white population, we understand because she's married to a white guy. And because of her bad example as a father as an alcoholic, I'm quite sure she had a little disdain for a black man. And I'm quite sure a man who was an alcoholic probably abused her mother. And he might have even crossed the lines of doing other things that I will not try to mention or speculate. But what I will tell you is that I do know that these type of things happen will cause a shift in people's behaviors as a young child and the development into an adult person.
What's up, dudes? You there?
Yeah,
I ain't
I'm
gonna lie.
good.
I'm getting tired. I ain't gonna lie. What's the verdict on Candace for you?
I mean, yeah, we could use all of those. Hold on. We could use all of those things, but I don't know, bro. It could be, yeah, that she's trying to protect her husband and her children. I mean, yeah,
Yeah, the
it could
trauma that
be.
she went through when as a child. You know,
It
some of the
could be.
some resentments that she continued to hold as a result of that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, yeah, ain't no telling.
So what's Kanye issue?
Oh shit, I do have some shit on him. I didn't really want to cover it that much, but yeah, freaking Kanye. I don't know. What do you think? Have you seen any of the stuff?
Nah, bro, I really don't pay attention to that guy like that, man. I'ma just be real with you.
Shit, he done took over the damn news cycle. It's all down the timeline. They're saying he's anti-Semitic. That's the main thing that they're saying, and you know, Chase Bank is saying that he's got to be out of the bank by November, because of his remarks that he made.
What remarks did he make?
Um, Damn, bro, you haven't seen all these. It's so many clips.
Let's talk
There's
about
a clip, the one where he was outside the car. That dude, he looked kind of like he was definitely buzzing on the pop, and he don't normally talk to the paparazzi. Anyways, there's a bunch of clips, bro. Let me play some of this.
Speaking of brain damage.
Yeah.
Okay, so just let me give you a little bit of the context. Kanye, where was he at? Like a fashion show in Europe or something?
So,
he and Candace Owens wore these White Lives Matter shirts.
Correct.
I don't give a shit, but a lot of people
Whatever.
got very upset about this. I'm like, okay, this like unhinged celebrity did something provocative. Who really cares? Then Tucker Carlson decided to seize on this moment and do this long sit-down interview with Kanye West, which we also weren't going to cover for very similar reasons. But what was interesting after the fact is Tucker really set this up, and I've now watched the whole interview. He really set this up as like, people say Kanye's crazy, but I'm going to show you unvarnished what his real opinions are. And and he sets it up as like, he's obviously not crazy. His opinions make all kinds of sense. He's speaking the truth. It's just, he doesn't stay on the script. So the whole purpose, as portrayed by Tucker, was to show his audience in the world that Kanye is not actually crazy and off his rocker, that he's thinking very clearly and logically about these things. Okay, so a day or two, I don't know, after this whole interview airs, then Kanye posts something on Twitter about like, I'm gonna go DEFCON 3 on Jewish people.
Yeah.
Gets banned from Twitter. He also posts on Instagram that he thinks that Puff Daddy, Diddy, whatever he's called now, that he's being controlled by Jews. Gets banned from Instagram as well. Okay, so that brings us up to speed. Now, we had someone in the Fox universe leak to Vice News what parts of that Tucker Kanye interview were actually edited out. And it is very revealing because he chopped out, first of all, like 4 or 5 different just like over the top anti-Semitic comments, like really blatant anti-Semitic comments. But he also chopped down everything that sounded completely freaking nuts and like absolutely lunatic things that he was saying. So he was talking about like someone had planted fake children in his house.
That was the freakiest one.
Right, to like sexualize his children. He talked about like these energy cities that the Lord has told him he needs to create. I mean, he had all kinds of conspiracies. There's this like 7-minute long story, literally, that he tells about his friend who died of cancer. And Kanye's constructed this whole elaborate conspiracy about how elites in Paris conspired to take this guy out. So just to give you a sense of what was left on the cutting room floor, take a listen to this.
I was biting my tongue on my political opinion because I thought it would be better for my children. And now you look up and my kids are going to a school that teaches black kids a complicated Kwanzaa. I prefer my kids knew Hanukkah than Kwanzaa. At least it will come with some financial engineering. Think about us judging each other on how white we could talk would be like, you know, a Jewish person judging another Jewish person on how good they danced or something. I mean, that's probably like a bad example when people are gonna get mad at that shit. But another thing that they do that I probably want to edit that out in front of that like that. Okay, so, you know, I was talking to Ice Cube today, and we got really beat up in 2020 for saying we need to approach things a different way and not just be trauma drunk, right? Which is a term that God just hit me with in the past couple of days. We are no longer trauma drunk. We are no longer trauma drunk, and we're no longer trauma bonding, and we're no longer woke in the sense of what woke is, because woke is just complaining about racism, but not doing anything about it. So what we're gonna do about it is say, hey, you know what? Y'all not gonna send nobody at me based on my opinion. You asked the question before. It drove me crazy to not be able to say that I like Trump. Planned Parenthood was made by Margaret Sanger, a known eugenics with the KKK, to control the Jew population. When I say Jew, I mean the 12 lost tribes of Judah, the blood of Christ, who the people known as the race black.
So what also, okay, another thing that's funny, and actually none of this is funny, but another thing that's interesting is Kanye said at some point that he was vaccinated, that also got cut.
Really?
Yeah, and he said this thing about, what was interesting to me was the way they cut. So like the Margaret Sanger thing he says there, they left that part in. So they left in the part of the interview where he's like, Margaret Sanger, founder of Planned Parenthood, known eugenicist, founded with the KKK. And then they cut out that whole like, to control the Jew. And by the Jew, I mean, whatever he went on to say.
It's funny how she said whatever he went on to say. I think that that line is the one that gets you in trouble, or that's one of the lines that get you in trouble because what's his name? Nick Cannon said something very similar to that. And he got basically blackballed. You know, he somehow weathered the storm and brought his career back around, but he got fired and all kinds of shit happened. He had to go out and do his shit on his own. And he made that same comment, and it's what I think that's one of the ones that got him in trouble, Kanye, right now. And the part about what did he say? What did he say right before that? The Jews. Hold on.
The KKK, and then they cut out that whole.
Oh yeah, Margaret Sanger, the KKK, and eugenics, and so some stuff you can't say in the same context with the Jews. In the media, you're not. Some certain things you're not allowed to say. You know, I think that points to how free speech how much free speech we have, you know? And I think that says a lot because nobody wants to say these things. Like people are afraid of saying anything in those realms, even if they're true. Not to say that what Kanye was saying was true. And I don't like how they was handling him on this show, the way they were talking about him and just so dismissive of him, like he's crazy and just, you know, retarded, you know, dismissing them. I don't like that, you know. But at the same time, what I was saying from the jump is that Kanye be grifting too. That's why I'm saying the power of grifting. You know, he makes money. He just launched like a little freaking, I don't know, he did a documentary. I don't know what all he did. I don't keep up with that fucking shit. But I'm sure that this whole thing is making him money. You know what I'm saying? His sales of whatever the hell. You know what I mean? He's going viral. What they say, no publicity is bad publicity. He got all kinds of businesses, all kinds of shit going on that's gonna freaking benefit from all of this coverage. He's not a dumbass. He's really smart. He's taking advantage of people. He's trolling.
Well, I think that like people being way too serious about something that like they should have just let go. Like and to be angry at him because of a T-shirt or whatever, like he had it thought out. He did it for a reason. And then us spending a week talking about the shit and how crazy it is, or like how insane he is. No, we're the crazy ones.
Yeah, because we keep talking about him. Yeah, man. And that's why I didn't really want to cover this completely, but it goes with the name of the show is grifting, and I think that's overall what he's doing. Even though there's seeds of truth, there's a lot of truth in what he's saying. That's the only way it works. That's the only way it works. Like in the other video I just changed from Go Black to Africa, that was one of the points he said. He made the point of the rat poison and how like most of it is green,
Not
but it's a little bit of it that's poison. But you eat it and it kills you because it has that little bit of poison in there. So I'm not saying that there's a little bit of poison in what Kanye is saying. I'm not saying that you can take that how you want, but what I'm saying is he has his agendas. Like we were saying earlier, these people, they have their agendas, and he got things that he want to accomplish, and he doesn't care about like what y'all think or whatever. Like he really don't. He's laughing all the way to the call me crazy all the way to the bank. He. I'm crazy. Cash his check. He's gonna move his money to another account. He's gonna be fine. Believe it. That's what I think. The whole White Lives Matter is all him just capitalizing. Did y'all see the
but you could be wrong though, right?
Yes, I totally could be wrong. I totally could be wrong. He could be emotionally involved in this and making it as a political statement for his views and wanting to, express his ideas. Even some of the crazy stuff that it sounds crazy that he's saying. It could be his true feelings on things. But like I say, there always has to be truth in there. Otherwise, ain't nobody gonna go for it. It's not gonna work. But you also sensationalize things. You take it all the way over the top. So therefore, like that's what Candace Owens does, all the way over the top to get people all freaking riled up. And you harness that energy for your own benefit.
Yeah.
He did make a good point about Sager made a good point about us freaking going with these celebrities like I can't even think of. Let me play it because
Troll the Jew, and by the Jew, I mean whatever he went on to say. So
that's the key right
they were
there.
very selective in the way that they cut out anything that was, I mean, the financial engineering thing with regard to Hanukkah, super in. Right. And then he also says this thing that made it into the interview where he says that Trump was the first black president and he's going to be the first Latino president. And then in the interview, they leave out the part after that where he says, because I get along with them better than some other businessmen, I'm going to leave it unnamed who they are. Obviously, another reference to Jewish people. All of that, and also, like I said, the craziest anecdotes about, you know, this conspiracy he imagined with regards to his kids and with his friend and all the energy.
Look at Sager's face. It's like, I have to make this super disgusted face. I'm so disgusted at the anti-Semitism.
Cities, all of that left down. And so, listen, I think my reaction is a little bit different than other people. Personally, you know, there's a lot of like this, they need to protect him and they shouldn't be airing interviews with him whatsoever. I sort of feel like, listen, this is a grown-ass man who has made an affirmative decision that he does not want to be on his medication and who has made an affirmative decision he wants to be in the public eye. But if you're going to do that interview, you can't cut and paste it and try to massage it to make it into the thing you want it to be. The whole purpose of this interview was set up by Tucker was like to show how he's not crazy. And then you cut the craziest shit out of the interview. Blatant propaganda.
That's the problem with the cable news interview style too. Just the cutting and the pasting and the way it's done. It's like you can basically weave whatever. By the way, we've never edited an interview here once.
Yeah.
I think maybe unless somebody not even misspoke, but like lost their train of thought and like said, "Can I answer that question again?"
Yeah.
They're weaseling right there. I don't believe you, Sager.
Like, okay, sure.
Yes.
But
yeah, so I mean, listen, there is a time and a place for like a formal sit-down edited interview.
Yes.
There are different ways that you can do interviews. Most of cable news is actually just live. And there's no edits, it's live, it happens, whatever happens, happens. There are formal sit-downs. I mean, the Jake Tapper Biden interview was a formal sit-down. I'm sure there were parts that were edited down. There is a journalistically sound way to do that, and there is a journalistically fraudulent way to do that. The sound way is, you know, if you have some topic that's off topic that you just don't think is relevant, you cut the whole thing out. But it's not, imagine if in that Fetterman interview, for example, NBC News had cut out the places where he struggled for his words.
Yeah, that'd be outrageous.
And selectively edited it that way so that they could say after, judge for yourself that he's doing great after his stroke. That would be completely fraudulent. And that's effectively what Tucker did here with Kanye, was cut out all of the craziest parts to present a fraudulent image of how this man is actually
doing. It didn't even work.
I think they're being a little extra right there. You know, they're gonna edit. They are editor. Everything is edited. So get the fuck out of here with that. And so whatever parts they chose to cut is whatever parts they chose to cut. What the hell? So, but still, a lot of it came out. The part enough for Kanye to get freaking kicked out of Chase.
Because the clips ended up.
We're still right. Well, and the interview itself was
This
still
is crazy, bro. I've never heard of a bank kicking somebody
but it was a
out.
little bit more in the rails and
Millions of dollars.
Yeah, and I don't really think they should be able to do that. I think that's kind of extra right there. I think that's outside. See, that shows how powerful they are. Like Chase is like the biggest, one of the biggest. Like I mean, he's still gonna be fine. But I mean, it'll be limiting for him. You know what I'm saying? Not that I give a fuck. But what I'm saying is for the rest of us, you know, for all of us, like the power that they have is some shit that they shouldn't have. You know what I'm saying? They shouldn't be able to do that. Like, oh, he said something I don't like, so you know what? You can't have your money in my bank no more. Like, what? That ain't got nothing to do with this. We doing business over here. Like seriously, one thing shouldn't have to do with the other when it comes to that. Like, bruh, no, you handling my money. Like, shut the hell up and don't worry about what the hell I'm saying. Like, for real. Like, you shouldn't have that power. Like, you know, and then they have a monopoly on these damn banks. It's only a few of them. Like, I wonder how many other ones are affiliated with Chase that's going to be a problem with him when he needs to move his money around or whatever he needs to do. They're big as hell. You know, and another thing, what is it, Chase? I want to say Chase. Recently, an article came out related to African slave trade or whatever, slaves, owning slaves or whatever, money that, anyways, all that shit is crazy. I saw a post where they was talking about how, you know, is it France? They literally, is it France or was another country straight up stole money from Haiti, like straight up stole it, not like not like traditionally like with colonialism and whatever. No, literally just took the money out the bank, like a whole bunch of money. And the post was talking about how, like, with interest, how much money that would be for them to pay that shit back. But we see that we can see all of these like things that literally are against the law that they do that don't get retributed for. And a lot of times it has to do with economics. And there goes people's situations where they want to say that these are shithole countries. Give them their money back. See how they do then, and stop fucking with their damn governments. Stop stealing their damn resources. Anyways, I'm probably gonna wrap it soon. How much more driving you got, Deuce?
Sure, not much. Not much left. Probably about an hour and a half, somewhere around in there. But shit, man, if you gotta wrap it, bro, I know you tired, man. Shit, I'm good. I got plenty. I can listen to music and everything else on this phone while I'm rolling.
That's what's up. Yeah, I said I'm talking about Atlanta rappers, and the district attorney in Atlanta is going in on RICO charges with all kinds of rappers. Like she said, she gonna get them, and them damn RICO charges are so hard to beat. And then I saw a post where they were talking about Gunna, like they said that they don't really have evidence on him, and they're kind of just holding him. They might have to let him go. That's the other rapper that got indicted with Young Thug.
Yeah. That shit crazy.
Yeah, that shit crazy. I don't know why. So you're in Atlanta and you're a rapper, so you have to be tied up to some kind of criminal organization. Like that's what's hip. That's what's cool. That's what's popping. And then you got the ones they got to turn informant. So some of these rappers out here are damn informants, bruh, because they got caught on a case, and now they running around, freaking helping the feds build cases on other rappers.
Planned Parenthood was an avowed racist whose goal was to reduce the black population in America, and she succeeded. 80% of abortion clinics in America are in minority neighborhoods. Over 22,500,000 black babies have been aborted in 50 years. Over 1,000 black babies are aborted every day. Abortion is the #1 killer of black lives in the United States, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Abortion kills more black people than HIV, homicide, diabetes, accidents, cancer, and heart disease. Watch this one. Combined. So that means we are inside of it as we speak.
This is genocide. So wait,
we are inside of genocide as we speak.
What about
Planned Parenthood was set up and placed in minority communities to black people. Here we go. Margaret Sanger, the founder of Planned Parenthood.
So yeah, Can y'all hear me? Yeah. Kanye been going in for a minute though. But it's funny how like now they want to go in on it's we're in a politically charged atmosphere, so like Kanye been saying the same stuff forever, the same kind of stuff or whatever. But it strikes a more sensitive tone because everybody's so sensitive, man. We got this outrage ass culture, and it's a powder keg, and the people feel like they're under pressure to do something like that everybody can see that makes it look like, oh, I don't deal with people who are anti-Semitic or whatever. I don't deal with people who are saying stuff like that. Imagine if Kanye wasn't Kanye and what would have happened to him for saying stuff like that on a big stage. Him being who he is protects him to a certain extent, because to one of us, they probably put us up under the jail.
Yep. Yep.
This post says Kanye West attends Candace Owens' Black Lives Matter documentary screening alongside Ray J. Ye proclaims he's glad he crossed the line with his recent statements. Yeah, there's a clip of him saying that to the paparazzi came up and he was saying that he was like, I'm glad I crossed the line. I'm glad they're mad at me.
I ain't mad at the nigga. Fuck it. Give a fuck.
Yeah, like for real, like Pat was saying, like we're the ones because we're looking at it. He's like, look at me, and we're looking at him. We're doing exactly what he wants. It's like he's attention. He wants that attention.
Yeah. I don't give a fuck, bro. I'm trying to get to a point where I can leave a. So I'm trying to get to a point to do what these motherfucking white folks doing, setting their kids up, leaving a legacy behind. I don't give a fuck what Kanye doing, bro.
Yeah.
But people give life to it, you know. Be the change. Be the change.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good way to end it. So we have to do what we can to be the change.
Yeah.
We got to live in it.
Yeah, bro. Like, invoke some change. Maybe what he's doing, maybe he's trying to invoke change by way of saying, if you've offended by it, then maybe you feel like, damn, black lives are more important. Okay, well, if you feel that way, then start making some changes in your community. Don't just sit back and watch fucking TMZ all night.
Yep. Yeah, but they're freaking pulling the wool over our eyes because they're like, if you just use your reusable grocery bag when you go to the grocery store, Meanwhile, they're like, on the other hand, they're like, take as many flights as you want. Anyways, what I'm saying is I'm all tired. I probably didn't make no sense, but it's all about money, It's all about money. They don't care. And as long as we continue to allow that particular system to go, then we're gonna keep getting the same results.
Um, that when you say system, what do you mean? Like that type of system, democracy or the republic? I mean, this.
What was I talking about? The money related to money. What did I say? I'm fucking tired.
So as long as we let that type of system keep
I was
going,
thinking the money. I'm thinking about the money, but right now I can't say it. What it is? Freaking related to the economic system that we live on with. I don't remember. Fuck, I don't remember.
all right, because I know I'm not in great shape either right now, but
Yeah, I'm losing it. I'm delirious.
All right,
Um,
Kanye, pull your shit together.
yeah, man, I'm gonna
who?
have to wrap it. He said Kanye need to pull himself
Uh,
together. What you got any final thoughts, Pat? What you think? Kanye West, Candace Owens, the Jews.
um, man, real honestly, just like there's many things that you could be doing than to be trying to keep up with what they doing. Like, and it's like it's us. That's others might talk about it. Oh, yeah, he's crazy, but then that's it. It's no long conversations about it. Just you know, I don't know. Just I don't do you. That's all I'm gonna say. Y'all do you.
Yeah, and I think the comment about the black people being the Jews is one of the ones that they don't like a lot. You know, regardless of what
Yeah.
people stand on that. I like to think about the Palestinians being the rightful people over there. I like to think about those kind of real life things. Because when you start talking about that stuff in the Bible and then arguing back and forth, who's right? The person who's interpreting the Bible this way or the one that's interpreting it that way? So then you're just going to be going chasing your tails on that. So,
Well,
but
whatever the original people would be of America is what the Jews would be. But there's enough stuff to go around to prove that. But some people they get angry behind it because that was something they wasn't supposed to figure out. But clearly in the Bible, I mean, if you read the Bible, you gave them the Bible. It's your fault.
because they actually read the shit.
You know.
Because but again, the Bible and when you get stuck in all of that, then like I say, they're gonna be arguing about that forever. And then that's what leads to the wars and stuff. And it also leads to like Israel feeling like, this is our land. God gave us this land. What from the river to the sea or whatever it is they say, you know. But hey, hold on, it was people already living here. So like I like to stay in the realm of like reality and what's actually happening in the world. And it's okay to be religious, but at the same time we need to fucking look at what's actually happening and address that instead of arguing about the semantics. You know
There's a
what
there's a
difference?
great amount of there's a lot of people that really believe, word for word what's in the Bible. So I mean, that's
Yeah, the power it's got over them. But again, with the black Jews or whatever, what I'm saying is, what difference does it make? You know what I'm saying? Like, how does that move us forward now? That's what I'm saying.
that part. Okay. Yeah, I mean, look, I because to me it doesn't really matter. Like we've been called all kind of stuff over different periods of times and all. And we should some things, especially as black people, we need some shit we need to let go and really focus on what we're doing now. And we shit, you want to be called a Jew? Shit, get this world back in order, and you can call yourself whatever the hell you want to.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I
let's
mean,
focus
that's
on that. If you want to call yourself a Jew or whatever, righteous people of Abraham, then act like it. Get out here and take care of business.
amen. I second
Anyways,
that.
peace and love. I'm gonna have to wrap it. Thanks y'all for joining. Thank y'all for listening. Hopefully we
Peace and love.
move the conversation forward a bit.
Yeah, I hope so.
Expanding somebody's perspective a bit. I like to cover all the sides of whatever it is we're talking about instead of being all, one-sided on everything. So I hope people, appreciate that, because almost all the shows are one-sided. They'll give a little taste of it or something, but then they'll just beat it up and they'll be like, "Oh, this person owned that person," or whatever. Like,
yeah. Well, so tomorrow.
yeah, I'm gonna try to be on. Yeah, I'll be on. I'm gonna try.
All right. Well, me too.
All right.
Now, if you on, I'll be on.
All right. Peace and love,
All
y'all.
right, I
Get y'all
hope.
some rest. All right.